Hey, all right, we're live. We're live finally. So let's see the comments. We have Ali.
Mhm.
Yes, I hope you're here. Let me see. Who do we have here? Yes, one person. Aha, not another
Woohoo!
plant-based utilitarian. Legends. Thank you, thank you. Yes, not another plant-based utilitarian. I like this person already. Been making
Yeah.
some good posts and some stuff. So yeah, that's good.
Mhm,
All
mhm.
right, all right. Well, yeah, we are live finally. Another live stream. It's good to have you back in the channel because that other time that
Thank
was
you,
really
thank
fun.
you.
That was really
Yeah, it
fun.
was ages ago also, or
Yeah, I think it was even
yeah,
last year or something. Like I think it was.
I think
I don't think it
so.
was this year. I think it was last year. So that was good.
Mhm.
And I remember that last time, that was another topic that I wanted to talk about because last time you wanted to talk about my Dominion challenge. I don't know if you remember that I asked my
Yeah,
family,
yeah.
yeah, that I
I
asked my
remember, yeah.
family, yeah, for my birthday, hey, all I want is for you to watch this documentary, and they didn't do it. Well, they still haven't. So
Okay.
that's an
It
update.
was an update, like, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is the update. They still haven't. From that day that we had
Okay.
the live stream to today, they haven't watched it. In fact, I think they forgot all about it already.
You should send it again.
Yeah, I think so. I should send it again. In fact, I should send it every day until they watch it. That's what I
Until
should
they
do.
watch it.
Or until they block me and never talk to me again. Whatever happens
Yeah.
first. Whatever happens first. Either they block me or they
Need
end up
any order,
watching.
they can watch it and then block you, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because would they watch Christspiracy? Because my family, at least this side of the family, is very religious and stuff. And they go to church and everything.
Oh.
So would they watch Christspiracy? I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know. Because
Mm.
some
You
religious
can trick
people.
them, trick them into saying like, "Oh, this is about Jesus and stuff,"
Yeah,
and then
exactly. I could tell them, hey, this is a new thing, a new discovery on Jesus Christ. It's really
yeah.
interesting. And maybe they're like, oh yeah, Jesus, that's our guy. We like him. And then, blam, no, it's about how Jesus was an animal liberationist, and you're not. So yeah, that could be
Exactly.
interesting. Another
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, thank you. Not another plant-based utilitarian. Thank you so much. Okay, are you seeing the comments right?
Yeah, I still haven't figured out how to have another monitor, but
No, no,
I'm
but
not
but I
checking.
mean, there should be
But
like a setting that allows you to
I
see the
see it on
comments.
the live thing. No, I only see the ones you highlight. Yeah,
Okay,
the,
okay. So you don't
the
really see
ones.
them. Interesting. Well,
No,
okay,
I don't
okay.
know how to.
All right. But yeah, so yeah, Dominion Challenge, I don't know, that did not did not go
Now
well at
you have
all.
to do the Christ challenge. And even if you have atheist friends, you can also say the same, like, hey, this is something that talks shit about Jesus, you should watch it. And then
Right,
they're like, oh, yeah,
exactly. Like, hey,
you never
watch.
know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like a non-vegan atheist friend. But I don't know many
Mhm.
atheists really. Yeah, I don't know many. That's kind of weird, but it's true.
Okay.
Don't know many atheists either. Let me see. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think here in Europe, everyone is an atheist, so it's.
I mean, probably it's more diverse. Like the religions and the
Yeah,
beliefs and stuff. I guess. Like, but
yeah.
you know how South America is. It's a bunch of religious people. It's mostly like, yeah. So that's what it is in this and
Yeah.
or that side of the world. That's how it is. Many religious people.
Yeah, I studied in the Opus Dei, so
Yeah,
it can get more
exactly.
religious than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they never gave
yeah.
your parents their money back. Yeah, I don't know. They should
No,
have, because
I
you.
mean, my parents really tried their best. I was like in a Franciscan school, then like the Opus Dei, like all girls and stuff. Those, so I'm like, they wasted so much money.
Exactly. They never got any of that money
And then
back.
here I am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Oh
they
man.
tried. They tried.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What can I say? So yeah, to me that's the thing with the indoctrination side of things. Like you get indoctrinated sometimes until like you start like thinking for yourself. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how much they try to have like an idea, like try to make it happen for you. Like you're not convinced, you're not gonna be convinced. Like it just so happens. But I don't know. Like I was a Catholic for like until I was like 15. Then I was like, yeah, you know what? This thing
Hmm.
is fake. So I was like, no, this
Yeah.
thing is all fake. Like, what is this? Because I started like
Yeah.
studying science and whatnot. So I was like, hey, wait a minute. If the Earth is this many years old, and then this thing is this, and
Like,
the universe is that,
doesn't make.
how does God factor in into any of this? Like, what is
Yeah.
this? And talking snakes and trees and fruits and whatnot. It's like the whole thing is just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a funny story to tell, but it's not real. So,
To
but
be
it's
honest with me,
hilarious.
I don't know if I said it already in the other live stream, but I mean, it was a year ago, so I don't remember, of course. But for me, it wasn't like I was also very religious because of like indoctrination, of course. And my whole family was Catholic. I was studying in Catholic school. My friends were Catholic. So, of course, and as a young person, you just like, you're a sponge. You just like absorb,
Mm,
and you're very conditioned by your environment, of course, um, but it was also around 15 or 16 that it, for me, it wasn't like, okay, this doesn't make sense, this is all fairy tales, I just don't believe in it. For me, it was like a process where I was like, really, the more I start, because again, um I was very interested and very committed to the religion. So I started like, like reading the Bible and going to church and talking a lot to to our school priest. But since I wasn't like a little boy, he never like did anything bad to me, so don't worry. There was like no interest, no
right.
nothing. We just had
Yeah,
like
exactly.
very healthy conversations. And I was, the more like I learned about not Jesus per se, but like everything that comes from the Old Testament, uh God, basically. I mean, he was a horrible, horrible being, he was not like all peace and love and forgive everyone and give the other cheek. It's like he was like, don't give the other cheek, I fucking drown all of you. So he was so how to say, ruthless, that I started kind of like, I don't want to follow a being that is so irrational and is such a tyrant also. And the moment
Right.
you start having questions, he's kind of like punishing you. And there was a time where I was even feeling like, I'm more afraid of God and to make any kind of scene or something, that I am afraid of like Lucifer or whatever, you know what I mean? Because God just isn't also um loving, let's say. And
Right.
when it came the part of like animal sacrificing, like you need to please him by like sliding the throat of goats and spilling blood, I was kind of like, whoa, this is not a peaceful man for sure. So I was kind of like, it got me into more like, I was like religious, then I was kind of like opposing it, like, okay, I'm quite sure you exist, but I don't want to be part of it.
Mhm.
And then it came to my senses, where kind of like, you know what, I mean, this is the best fictional piece of art ever, because it's such a good book, the Bible. It's better than Lord of the Rings, better than that. So it took me quite a while to understand that it was just like a bullshit, basically. But it was a process. And the animal sacrificing and all of that. And also I was already like vegetarian. I know it's not a good thing, but I was
Right.
young and ignorant. So I was like, why? I mean, if God asked me to kill an animal for him, I wouldn't do it. So I might as well go to hell already. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's also that
religion.
part where like there's this part in the Bible. I don't remember if it's like the Old Testament or which one it is. Oh, by the way, Vicente is here. Thank you, Vicente, for being here. Really cool dude. We were in that debate. We're gonna talk about that in a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, another legend. Yes, that's right. So yes, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you start questioning things, and it's like, if this is what God does, why would I want to follow that? Like, that's crazy. Like,
Hmm.
oh, what? You're doing this thing I don't like. I'm going to burn down this whole village or something. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
like, chillax. Like it's like just two dudes holding hands. You don't have to burn down the whole village for that. you know. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. There's some weird passages there and
Yeah.
some stuff, and people even like when he asked that guy. I don't even remember which character that was. And he was like, "Hey, dude, kill your son," and the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." And then God
How
was
was it,
like,
Abraham or
"I think it
something?
was yeah, I think it was Abraham or something." And he was like, "No, it's just a prank, bro." It's like, that's not a prank. That's horrible. You told him to kill his son to prove his loyalty to you. Like, who does that?
How crazy is that? How crazy is that, you know?
And people think that's good. Like, how can you sleep with not with one eye open?
Yeah.
Because afraid of your parents that they might hear some voice and say, "Yeah, kill your son" or something. Like, what the heck? No, like
Yeah,
they think that's
exactly.
actually good. Like, that's terrible. you know.
Yeah, there was a story that the times that I was speaking to this priest, he was a really cool guy actually, but he was telling me this story about when God created man and stuff. Lucifer, like the most beautiful angel and stuff, he was very jealous of mankind because he was saying that God was putting too much attention into people and
Hmm.
people were like not worthy of his love, and we were like imperfect and like full of flaws and stuff. So why would God love them? So then Lucifer, let's say that he was testing God, telling him, like, I'm pretty sure that they only love you and pray to you because, like, people, because life is too easy for them. If you complicate life for them, I'm pretty sure that they will forget about you. And then God was saying, like, okay, challenge accepted. And then
exactly. Yeah.
he took one of his most loyal people, a guy. He was very wealthy. He had like a huge family and stuff, and he was very devoted to God. So what God did is that he started like killing all of his family from diseases. He took away all of his possessions. He was like super poor and like almost dying, and even in his like how do you say, he was actually like super malnutritious. Is just how you say it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was almost dying, and still he was praying to God. So God told Lucifer, like, see, like people are not so like full of flaws like you say, and they will love me, doesn't matter what. And then Lucifer just told him, like, what kind of God will treat his devoted people like that? And then he was like, he got owned. And then God was like, you know what? Go to hell.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
Literally.
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 Yeah.
And then like it was funny because then the priest was telling me, like, see, it doesn't matter how much hard life is, God will never leave your side because he believes in you. And then I was like, I understood the story in another way.
yeah,
Actually, Lucifer had a
exactly. Yeah.
point.
Like first, like
I mean,
God
because
can.
God was causing all the problems to begin with.
right. Like what
It's like
I
a toxic
understood.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like what I understood is that God can be easily manipulated by some sociopath.
Yeah.
Like, hey, why don't you treat him bad to see if he likes you? It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to
Just for
destroy
the
his
laughs.
family and his life. Yeah. Like, dude, why did you accept that challenge? Like, just say, shut up, Lucy, and but whatever. oh man, yeah, it's
That
just
story
that
stuck to me
those
like
stories
forever.
are crazy. One of my favorite is that Tower of Babel because it's kind of like, oh, we now don't speak the same language, so we forgot all about math and construction and stuff. It's like I don't think so. Like they would find a way to communicate and finish the
Yeah.
thing. I don't know. But in any way, it's kind of crazy. It's like the whole thing is
Yeah,
crazy.
but it makes you see God had like a, I don't know, a narcissistic disorder or something
Yeah,
because
like God was kind of like a teenager or something, like really insecure and like storming off and causing havoc just because he didn't like something. I don't know. It's kind of
yeah.
weird. Like even at the beginning, condemning the entire human race just because some guy and some lady ate a fruit from a tree he said not to. He condemned the entire thing. That you're going to
Yeah.
work and you're going to labor and you snake you're going to like, drag your body around and it's like bro like it was just a fruit from a tree like could you like relax a little yeah
And still, why put the fruit there to begin with, you know?
yeah exactly like if you tell humans not
It's
to do
like even
something they
if
want
I tell you like, Armando, you have a table full of, I don't know, like buttons to press, but don't press this one. Of course you will press that one, you know?
you're
It's
like
like
what is
human
this
nature.
button when they're not looking
Mm.
I'm gonna I'm gonna press it and it's like that's just human nature like when I was
Exactly.
a kid and I would see something that said high voltage and had a skull in it, I was like, high voltage. Is it really? How high is that voltage? Like, but obviously I
I
didn't do
don't believe.
anything. But it's like, yeah, I don't believe it. This must not be that much. Even if it had a skull and it was like high voltage, or even if I saw a door in a store that said only personnel, like authorized personnel, I was like, what's behind that door? I want to go and stuff like that. Like that's just human nature. Hey, David C.
Yeah.
Arenas is here. David
Hello.
Arenas, yes, awesome. All
It's
right.
like when you're a kid, I don't know if you did it, maybe that explains why my brain doesn't work so well, but it's like you have like soap and it smells so good and then you took a bite and then you're
Oh
like, oh
damn.
Jesus. I mean, you know you were not supposed to do it, but somehow it's like, but what if?
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, you do all kinds of weird stuff, and even if your parents
yeah,
tell you, "Hey, that's hot, don't touch that," and you're like, "Nah, it's not." Ah! Like everyone does that because you have to see it for yourself. Like, no, no, I don't believe this. I have to like, oh no, ah. It's like that's just how it is. Like that's
yeah.
how
I
we
think like
learn.
Darwin was wrong. Darwin, he was wrong. It is not like survival of the fittest; it's like survival of the dumbest. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
just avoid being dumb. All right, but yeah. So yeah, yes. Revolta is so beautiful, says Ali. Yes, yes, she is. She's like a Morticia
Oh,
Adams kind of deal.
same attitude.
But yeah,
Uh,
but yeah,
but yeah,
it's
your life with carnism debunked.
all right.
You
Yeah,
changed
so
it. So yeah.
let's get into that a little bit. So, I mean, it was kind of a crazy experience. I wanted, like, I saw that George was asking people if they wanted to participate in a debate about lab grown meat. And because I had already made a video about it and all that, I was like, I want to participate. It was like a
Hmm.
two versus two. So I was like, okay, let's do this thing. I'm gonna apply for this. And I was selected. Apparently, there weren't even many people on the anti side, according to George. And he was like, no, the pro side is very strong. I need a very strong anti side. I was like, how can it be like the pro side can be strong? I don't understand, but okay, if he says so.
Um,
And then when I find out I'm going against the vegan campout guy, I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Like the vegan campout guy, like, I mean, I understand. Like, I mean, there were many things that were left unsaid in that debate. Well, Vicente is here, by the way, in the comments. And yeah, I think we did make a good team. Obviously, we communicated with each other prior to the debate, and we exchanged ideas and how we were going to approach the debate and who was going to say what. Because they
mm,
asked us to do like an introduction and whatnot. which to me was kind of we're too official or something. So I'm not really a fan of that much protocol. I'm like, let's just have a talk about
Okay, you
this.
wanted something like more casual, maybe.
Yeah, but it was all with introductions and conclusions and whatnot. I'm like, dude, like where? So I just wrote like a 2 minute thing, nothing. Yeah, utilitarian camp. Yeah, that my
Yeah.
my my favorite part of the whole thing was the
Yeah.
leguminary and the question. Like, Jordan, are you going to do utilitarian camp? That
That
was
was the
just
best. That was
absolutely,
really
that was precious. Like the utilitarian
yeah.
cop out. Yeah, it was just so precious. I was like, yes. In my mind, I was like, yeah, take it. You know. But during the
No, but
debate, yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No say.
No, no. Okay, so I was going to say, like during the debate, I wasn't really processing anything that was happening. I was mostly like, okay, this is happening, but I was like,
Please tell me.
okay, on the defensive and whatnot, because they were saying on the only thing they were saying was a bunch of utilitarian arguments and then denying that they were making utilitarian arguments. But they said that they were willing to sacrifice a few animals to save a bunch of others, which is a utilitarian stance. That's what it is. It's calculations of this many deaths or this many versus that many. And I don't know. I mean, you can,
Reducing suffering, let's say, and stuff.
yeah, reducing like the number of victims and reducing suffering and stuff. But my point, or I think what my point is, hey, it's Jigger Teaser from Puerto Rico. That's
¿Qué pasa?
right. Hello, surfer dude. How's everything? So yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, you can make those calculations and get to a point where you're like logically thinking, yeah, if I'm sacrificing this individual for this many, it makes sense. But it's like, but you're not addressing the issue. So the problem with this is that if you're putting your hope in saving these animals on a product, it's just not really strong. It's not a strong position because if the product, for some reason, gets discontinued, what's going to happen? Are we going back to farming? So,
Mhm.
because if you don't change people's mindset, that's what I was trying to convey. Even if you have this product, if the product for some reason gets discontinued, they don't do it anymore, or something happens, if the only reason why you stop abusing animals is because you had a product that is not there anymore, what's going to happen when it's not? You're going to go back to the old ways. So the reason why you're doing it also matters. It's not just what you're doing, it's also the reason.
Exactly.
But I don't
Exactly.
know, they don't understand this. Like, it's not, I'm at the surf shack right this second. I am on my surf shift right now. Well, surf away, guy. Surf away.
Surf safe.
Yes.
No, I told you, I think, in the comments that I
Mm.
tried to watch the original
Right.
uh, debate. And I mean, I understand that it was maybe a little like there was like some protocol, because if it was only like a casual conversation, you always have the problem, especially with four people. Like
Mm.
maybe you guys start talking over one another and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, the thing is that I started watching it, and when they started saying that um if there was like a what was it, like if they could like create women robots or something, and then like men could abuse them, something like that, and then it would like reduce raping, let's say, then they are okay with it, you know. But the thing is that, I mean, come on, you're not changing the idea, you know. That's the thing, because for example, nowadays we still we have laws against racism, for example, uh but there are we are still fighting against it because there are still people who haven't changed their mindset, you know. So this is a matter with veganism, is the same. It's a matter of idea of changing how we see the animals, you know. So if you're just like you said, if you create these products, it's going to be another product, and then I don't know where these people in the pro side were when all of these plant-based alternatives came. Because I mean, I've been vegan for quite some time and none of these alternatives were available back then. And I
Right.
remember so well people saying like, oh, I don't stop eating meat because there's nothing similar to it, and
Uh-huh.
there's not many options, and the options that there are really bad tasting, blah 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 blah. Now you have like I'm not a fan of buying this alternative stuff, but when you go to the supermarket, last time I was there and there was like a vegan steak that it simulated the blood, you know, it was like a package with, it was made of peas or something, and then it simulated like the blood, which was like beetroot juice. And I was like, wow. I mean, of course, this is not a product for vegans. You know, it's a product for people who like maybe want to change. But then, like, you cannot say that the alternatives are that bad. I mean, they are so like tasting the same. You have like the plant-based butter, ice cream,
Right.
cheese, ham, milk, like everything, and still people don't change, you know. So, and this is why I say that it's so important for us vegans to not isolate ourselves and just have vegan friends and vegan partners and vegan family and vegan everything, because we need to listen always uh, to the non-vegans to know how we can tackle the problems, you know. When they were talking about like, oh, when I do outreach, so many people tell me that they will change if there was like lab grown meat. Like 10 years ago, these same people would have said like, I would change if there was like plant based options, you know. So it's like, and these people doing outreach, they believe that, they believe what non-vegans are telling them uh, in this, like, I don't know, moment of pressure maybe. I don't know, it's, none of my non-vegan friends would ever uh, consume lab-grown meat. They are more eager to consume plant-based options because they know that they of course they don't want to harm animals, but they are not like brave enough to just stop abusing them. But still, they know that it's like a more ethical option than meat. This lab grown meat is like they are totally against it. This is like it's so unnecessary. Also, so many funds uh going there for what, you know, just like for our own pleasure. This is like
Hmm.
the top. I don't know, it's not a good thing all in all.
Right, right. And there's so many, like you're saying this thing, like, well, I mean, obviously you went vegan a long time ago, long enough that there weren't these many alternatives, and they were the ones that weren't all that great
Horrible.
tasting or looking or anything like that. But there was some always the traditional foods, you know, like the chickpeas, lentils have always been there, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Even this follow your heart mayonnaise or veganese, because it cannot be called mayonnaise for some legal reason or something. But this veganese exists since 1970. 1970. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. And so, but it doesn't get much marketing, so that's why other animal abusing
Yeah.
mayonnaise are more well known and stuff. But it's kind of weird because sometimes you know, something that happens is I rewatch all old shows, and sometimes they have some kind of vegan thing there, or some don't abuse animals, some message here and there, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of
Mm,
crazy, like in the late 90s or something, because you didn't hear much about it back in the day. I don't remember
yeah.
anything like that. Well, you were more in tune with like vegetarianism because you had those Hare Krishnas and stuff over there, that community
Yeah.
in your city. But you know how my city was. It's like one of the most
Yeah.
backwards places ever. So
Yeah.
ultra conservative, backwards, superstitious,
Calvinistic, everything.
yeah, extremely just terrible. Like, oh no, the tattooed guy, delinquent, tattooed girl,
Yeah.
whore. It's like that's the level of you know that was there, yeah.
Yeah.
So and it's like, oh, what, you're wearing a miniskirt, you're not allowed in this establishment or something. It's the kind that kind of thing. So it's something like that. So that was my city. So vegetarian, vegan, what? No, I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't it? No, that was not a thing. But let's see some of the comments here. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ali says about the Muslims who claim to do halal. Yeah, I mean, not going to be any more inclined than others to eat cell culture. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think they will. And in fact, if well, I haven't heard much from them, but I don't think that they even want to get the plant based, like plant based pork or something like that, because their religion prohibits like the consumption of pigs, not because they like pigs, but because they hate them. So it's kind of like
Mm.
in a weird way, that form of speciesism is kind of positive for
Yeah.
the pig because it's like, hey, they hate me, so they don't
Yeah.
even want to, like in a weird
True,
like
true.
ways, like, oh, they hate me, so they don't want to eat me. Okay, thank you, Muslims. See you. Like, what is this? Kind of crazy. But they don't even want the
Yeah.
plant-based stuff because it might remind them too much of the thing. So they're like, no, we don't want to touch these or something. It's
I
kind
do
of
not
weird.
see I do not see religious people uh going like switching to yeah, plant-based, probably not, and also lab-grown meat, because also probably they will see this as man-made, and God creates animals for
Ah,
them
right.
anyway. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't see the religious people like
Yeah,
switching.
depending. I guess depending on the religion. I guess the most Orthodox probably not. But I met some Christian Orthodox people from Egypt, and they do this thing where they go vegan for 55 days a year. They do
Hmm.
55
Okay.
days of not consuming anything from an animal, not even dairy, eggs, anything.
Hmm.
And I asked one of them, okay, so if you do it for 55 days, like, why don't you do it 365 days? Like, you're
Yeah.
already doing it for like 2 months. So why not the rest of the year? Yeah. They couldn't really give me all that much of an answer, but it was like for a
Yeah.
religious reason, there's 55 days that they don't consume animals. And it's kind of, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. And I found
Yeah.
out here that the Seventh Day Adventists they're also vegetarian and stuff for
Yeah, they are.
some.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, but I don't know. Even we're in our religion or our former religion, at least in Venezuela, it was like in the Holy Week. We had that Friday where everyone doesn't eat meat for some reason, like land animals, but marine
But you eat
animals
fish.
were perfectly okay to eat.
Yeah, these are not animals anyway, so
Yeah, and it was just that Friday. That one Friday, we're not going to eat cow, we're not going to eat pig, we're just going to eat fish and shrimp and all the others. It's like,
yeah.
okay, that doesn't seem fair. Like, you're not eating this animal, but you're eating this other one. And if you ate meat, I remember they would look at you like, what are you doing? That's sinful. It's like it's just a
Yeah, yeah.
random Friday during the year. Like, what's the difference from this day to any other? Like, it's just a 24-hour period that you chose randomly. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And what I used to do when I was an atheist was that stupid thing where I ate meat on purpose just to piss off the religious people, and which now I absolutely hate myself for that because
Yeah.
I was why did I have like a victim that had nothing to do with any human belief. But it's
Yeah.
the kind of thing that you don't think about at some point until you do.
Yeah, of course.
What can I tell you? But that religious side of things, I mean, it's kind of crazy. You can just justify anything from whatever a book says or whatever you think a book is saying because people just interpret these things. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're not really, they're up to interpretation. So when they're up to
Yeah,
interpretation,
totally open. Yeah.
people just interpret whatever they want. So that's what I say. Like, people, like, they discriminate against other people or against the animals based on some book apparently, but it's just they use it as a shield to excuse themselves
Hmm.
of any wrongdoing. Like, hey, no, no, it's not that I want to hate you, it's that the book says that I have to hate you. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're saying it and you're just using the book as an excuse. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Like, those books were all written by old dudes. Like it's extremely misogynistic and
Yeah,
phobic
and
and
it was
all
like
kinds
a
of horrible.
compilation of many books, and also written in times that these
Mm,
people were under like persecution and stuff. So I mean, it was maybe appropriate for the times, but I mean, not now. I don't know.
yeah, and even the passages that were written by women were actually overseen, well, by men. Like the men were like proofreading the thing and actually writing it.
Yeah.
Like they just put the lady name there, like yeah, yeah, this was written by a woman, but it was still was proofread by some dude. So
Yeah, it was a guy with
there's
long
not
hair. Like, I am a woman.
right, yeah, but it was still
Yeah, I
not
mean,
really
it's
a lady.
mm, all of these religions are extremely like against women. If you look
Mm,
back, all the witch hunting and everything, it's like I don't know what men were always so afraid of women,
right.
But they were really afraid
It's always
to
been the
burn us
case.
all. Like, wow, it's like a little too extreme, but okay.
Right, like some lady. Yeah, yeah. 2 plus 2 is 4. What? Burn her alive. She knows
Yeah.
science. Like, what is this? Like, what the heck, dude? Like, just grab an abacus and do the calculation yourself. It's there. Like, it's just knowledge. But
Yeah.
whatever. It's kind of crazy. And even, I
Yeah.
mean, even in modern times, like the automatic car, the automatic transmission was invented for women because the,
Oh,
the the
really?
theory was that women just couldn't drive like the other ones, so they were like, yeah, this will be easier for them to just drive this automatic.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
The automatic transmission was invented for women. Yes, that's right. And men were afraid of the telephone because, oh no, now women are going to spend all day gossiping and whatnot,
Yeah,
which
that can be true.
became true. Yeah, that became actually true.
But I guess I mean, women here drive very well because the automatic car is not a very common thing
Oh, I
in
see.
Europe, all in all.
Yeah.
It's seen as very American.
Yeah, exactly. It's an American
Um,
thing.
because yeah, when I moved from Venezuela to Portugal, I was like also in Venezuela, you have the automatic car is quite
Yeah.
common. And then when I started learning to drive in Portugal, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Why? Why not an automatic one? But yeah,
Right.
I'm proof that women can drive a non-automatic.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a lady friend back in Venezuela who would drive, and she would be like, "No, no, I drive this car because the automatic is like too easy. I want a challenge." And I'm like,
Mm.
"Lady, life is already challenging enough. Why would I want another
Yeah.
challenge?" Like, and Maracaibo is not a city to drive with like drive stick. It's
No,
like it's crazy. Every
no.
2 seconds you're trying to stop. You're this that.
Hmm.
It's not working in the city. Like if
Yeah.
you're going on the road, then maybe. But Venezuela doesn't have those roads.
Yeah.
Europe might be different because there's like more open road or something. I don't know. Maybe.
It
But some
depends
cities,
on
but some cities are like
town,
so
city,
so
country.
yeah, some so small that you can walk them or just ride a bike.
Hmm.
Like if you
And
go to
also, you have
some.
a lot of public transportation. So
Mm.
yeah.
So yeah, the car is not car mind. It's not car minded. A car minded place, Europe and stuff.
No,
But
also, I mean, it's very expensive also to have a car. There's so many
mm.
fees and taxes that, I mean, you even have to pay like a tax just because you own a car, and also a tax because you drive on the roads, and also
Mm.
like an inspection. And there's like so many taxes that you need to pay. So I mean, when you live in a big city with public transportation like I do here now, it's like, I mean, why? If you have a car, maybe you could get a car if you work outside of the city. But here is like a nightmare to find a parking place. So
Mm.
full of cars, so I just
Yeah.
go by metro, by bus,
Right.
and that's it. But
Yeah.
if you live in the countryside, forget it. You need a car because there's like a bus every 3 hours or something like that. So
Right. Exactly. Hey, and Thais is here.
yeah.
And Thais, awesome.
Hell
You're a
yeah.
legend. Legend. That's right. All the good ones are
She's
here,
totally fearless.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, she's no nonsense at all. That's what I like.
Mm,
Yeah, so, well, yeah, so in the lab grown meat thing, like what we were talking about, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's just another product. So I don't think really vegans should,
yeah,
like, we are under no obligation to support any product. It's just a product. That's not what veganism is about. It's about
yeah.
freeing the animals. Now, I understand that they want to make the relation that, well, this product might help do this thing and might help us achieve this goal, I don't know, sooner rather than later or whatever. It sounds good in theory, but the problem is I doubt that's going to be the case. Like I said during the debate, I said at one point that, yeah, sure, we have cars, like we were talking now about cars, but people still
Yeah,
ride
yeah.
horses. They ride horses, elephants, camels, donkeys.
But how
So
many did it lower the amount of horses
yeah,
about the
yeah, I was like, bro, are you seriously like, oh yeah, but there's
the
fewer animals, like,
the only way I could
bro.
watch the whole debate was through Sky and David,
Yeah,
like reaction to it or
right.
commenting. That made it like way more entertaining because otherwise, I mean, I was going crazy watching
Yeah.
the original one. It was like,
Yeah.
and then I had like the same reaction. I only watched like half an hour of it, and then I was like, I mean, these two guys from the pro side, they are talking so much nonsense that I'm sure that, I mean, Vicente and AJ, they are doing such a good job already that, I mean, I'm not going to suffer anymore watching this. But then
Yeah.
when I logged in again, I watched the comments and everything. I was like, what? What happened? You know? So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, this is all like, these are people who focus on the suffering part, and it's like the same thing that I was also saying. For example, if you advocate, like for example, there are like laws for bigger cages,
Mm.
of course it's a good thing. I don't want animals to suffer because I empathize with them. I know they deserve rights, but I also can empathize with them. And of course, I would like the idea of bigger cages, but I'm not going to the streets to advocate for them and saying that as a vegan we should represent the whole bigger cages law. Of course not,
Oh,
because
no.
I want
No.
total animal liberation. you know I mean, of
Right.
course you need to be rational enough that, okay, improving the conditions of some animals, of course it's a good thing for them, but I won't put my voice as a vegan behind that idea. You know what I mean? So the
Right,
whole thing with the
exactly.
lab grown meat is like, why do they say that vegans should support the idea? Yeah, maybe it turns out to be a great product and people stop consuming animals magically. Okay, that's a good thing, but why should vegans be the voice of it? It's like, are we like the marketing team, or like, I don't
Right.
understand.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
exactly. And one thing I failed to mention during the debate is that there was obviously a conflict of interest because, well, from what I understand, that Ryan Blum guy, he's actually working like with those companies or something like that. He's involved somehow in that
Ah,
process.
okay.
And the other guy, Jordan, obviously he does the vegan camp out, and obviously he would want, sponsorships and stuff like that.
I was
So
even thinking that maybe they invested in it, because maybe they have
maybe
money and they invested, and now they want
maybe
it to be like a.
when you spoke about camel riding and cereal, clearly shows he doesn't focus on animal use and it's a plant-based utilitarian message for him. Yeah, and I really blame all of this on Peter Singer. Hey, I'm Demon Wolf. He's here. I like this Demon Wolf. He's really cool. He defends Bibles and the right to live and be left alone. So yeah, and he also plays video games. Really cool. Okay, so yeah, Jordan. I mean, that's the thing. To me, he's because he's doing the camp out and stuff, and he's gonna want sponsors. So he's like, no, I can't say anything about this product. Or maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something about some investment or something, because
Mm,
why would they be pushing for this thing? And that's the
yeah.
problem. Like when vegans get sponsorship deals and stuff, it becomes kind of, it's bad. I mean, I'm not against making money, and I'm not against vegans making money with animal activism and whatnot. The problem is when interests that go against the animals come into play, and they make you basically just go against your own uh, ethical and moral system. Because
Mm-hmm.
if at some point, I don't know, some company approaches me, it's like, hey, we're going to fund you, I don't know, your Turning Veganese channel or whatever, we're going to give you these funds or something. But you have to say this now. Like, and then what I'm saying now is like goes completely against what I actually believe, then that's not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something harmless, it's okay. But I mean, I got the idea because then I saw this Aspie guy commenting saying also that lab grown meat is so cool, bro. You know, like how he talks. I don't know. And then I was like, okay, this guy already invested a ton of money, in like crypto or whatever. So maybe he's also investing now in lab grown meat.
Hey,
So
who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, that's the thing. When you enter a like a, yeah, like a marketing thing or something, it can get dangerous. It can
Yeah.
get dangerous. I didn't believe so much at first, but now I'm seeing like the problem with that. Like when you start making money with that, and you start like
Hmm.
selling books or stuff like that, it's like it can get kind of murky, because then you have to say a message that everyone will like, that even if they're not vegan, which is
Yeah.
the complete opposite of what we should do. Like we have to annoy people and we have to make them angry. That's a good thing because we need a reaction from them. Like you know how I
Yeah.
was. I was really angry at vegans and whatnot, and I was like, "No, I'm not a murderer," and because that was the vegan message. Like back in the day, like "meat is murder." That's the phrase I heard the most,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What is this? No, I'm not a murderer," and I had this reaction against it and whatnot. But that actually helps more than telling me, "No, you're doing great," and if you want, just don't eat meat on Mondays. Like that would have been really
It's
weak.
those Mondays. Yeah.
That would have been a really weak thing to
Baby
say.
steps. You know, you're doing so well.
Yeah, he's a welfarist about other issues as well. He might not have bad intentions, but he's still having too many double standards about non-human animals. Yeah, the whole thing with the camp out, that's the thing, it's a business. So I don't know. I don't know. It's when it becomes a business, that's when things can get really murky. But it is what it is, and
I just
that's a
don't
problem.
understand why they have to kind of like use the vegan tag, you know? Because okay, maybe he is a welfarist and maybe he is an utilitarian, but he could just like shut up, you know, about it. He could just like do his cute little fest and then just like don't go like openly and talk about veganism like he is a vegan, you know? He could just be like, okay, I'm going to do this because it's a nice idea and these people are nice or whatever, and that's it. And I'm not going to be vocal and use the vegan name like in front of everything that I say, you know. I just don't understand the necessity of always like twist the message or just like I don't know, maybe they need attention. I don't know, I really don't get it.
Right. It's kind of weird. It can be many things, something like that. Either the sponsorships, the attention, the thing. And it's like they say the word vegan because already the word vegan is like really well known. Like today, everyone
Yeah.
knows veganism is a thing that exists. They may not know what it is exactly, but they know vegans are a thing and they know veganism is a thing. That at least they know. But most people I talk to have no idea that there's even like these plant-based alternatives or anything. They have no idea any of that exists.
Yeah.
And I sometimes, even if I mention that those things exist, I always try to bring it back to the animals. Like one
Yeah.
time when someone asked me like, "Oh well, if you eat like vegan pizza, that must be very different." I'm like, "Yeah, because mine doesn't come with like murder and rape and stuff." So it's like that's why I try to
Yeah.
bring it back to the animals. And if they ask me like if I Like that's another thing. Like I think we should stop. Like sometimes vegans, when they are asked about if they miss any of the dishes that they used to eat or something, and sometimes the answer that we give is like, well, no, because now we have plant-based this and plant-based that. That should not even be the answer.
Mhm.
Even if we didn't have it, you don't really miss it because you know where it comes from. That's the real reason. Like
Yeah,
it comes from this horrible place of exploitation and whatnot. So you don't want that. You don't want to participate on that. So I stopped seeing those products as the thing that they're trying to sell me, and seeing it as the thing that they really are. And that's why I don't
yeah,
want any more pizza or anything like that. I never crave any of those things anymore. Now I do wish they either never existed or they were just plant based always to begin with. Like I wish
yeah,
these dishes were never from animals. And we never did that to
yeah.
them. So I don't know.
I always say, when like people ask me that question, like, oh, do you miss any food or whatever, I always say like no, because like I stopped seeing animals as food. They're not even food. When I
Yeah,
think about
exactly.
meat or chicken or like fried chicken, I think it's disgusting, because I don't see it like,
Mm,
oh my god, I wish I could eat it. And now I also like avoid a little the plant alternatives, because I've tried a few and they are so similar that it gives me the creeps. It really reminds me of
mm,
like this animal, and I don't want to have that association. Of course, like
right.
sometimes, yeah, I mean, you can have like a barbecue with your friends or whatever, but I don't know. It's a little tricky with the plant alternatives, but
I mean,
I think
yeah,
it's up to
yeah,
it's like a personal kind of thing, because you're not harming anyone anyway. So.
right. I mean, I guess it depends. Like sometimes I mean, I like them when they're not that similar. I know it's kind of weird.
Mm,
I like them when they're just some salty chunk of something that I cannot recognize. Like it's just some
yeah,
salty chunk of something, that's fine. But if it's too much like the real thing, I'm like, no, I don't want this at all. Like I just don't know. Like I don't know. So I saw this thing where they're making like ribs, and the ribs look exactly like if they took them from the animal, even with the bone and everything, and the bone is made from like sugar or
wow.
something. Like they make
Mhm.
those. I'm guessing kind of the same process as they make those bottles for movies. Like those prop bottles that
Aha.
they break. I'm guessing it's kind of the
Yeah,
same kind of process. And I was like, why would I want to simulate some animal bones? Like that was the thing that I never even liked about animals. To be when I
yeah,
ate animals, I hated seeing people like chewing on the bones and like sucking onto them, and I was and
yeah.
going like, oh yeah, this is so good. And I was like,
It's like
yeah, heck,
so, I don't know,
you're sick. But at the same time I was consuming their flesh.
caveman behavior.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. Like I was consuming like their flesh, but I was disgusted by someone else sucking on the bones, and I was like, what the heck? Like that's crazy. I was doing something crazy too. But in my mind, I wasn't that crazy. I don't know. It was how it is. Salty
Yeah.
chunk, exactly. Some salty chunk. That's fine. I went to this restaurant that was international restaurant, but it was owned by Venezuelans. It was like the lady was Venezuelan and the guy was from some I don't remember. But the thing is that they made this international place with like Venezuelan dishes and stuff, and they had this Venezuelan pabellon criollo, but with pulled jackfruit, and
Mhm.
it was really good. Like the jackfruit was really good, and it didn't really taste or feel like any animal or anything. It was just the jackfruit, and I liked it. I was like, hey, this is cool. Like, it doesn't have to taste like anything else. It's just what it is, and it was really good. See no more flesh. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Yeah,
I
yeah,
sometimes do try like new products and stuff, but mostly
yeah.
because of uh maybe just recommending it, to non-vegan friends. I have a friend, for example, that I made like minced soy meat,
Uh-huh.
and now she's like totally obsessed with it, and now she's not even like buying normal regular minced meat. I mean, she's not a vegan, of course, but at least that, and then like I have a friend also that like, buying only the plant-based chicken and stuff, like, because it like the taste is the same, the texture is the same, and like the price is not like overly expensive, you know. So it's like,
Right.
what's the difference? So yeah, because of that, maybe I tried like a few. But to be honest, I'm more of a fan of like vegetable patties or bean patties
Mm.
than the real kind of like, or
Ah, right.
the imitation kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's also some plant-based patties that are like black beans and corn and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they're really good. Like
Black bean patties are the best.
they're
Ah,
really
I love black
savory,
beans so
and
much.
yeah, they're really good. Like they're
Yeah.
very savory, and they feel more like natural and stuff, and you feel like you're eating
Yeah.
plants. Just that they're really good, and they're in the form of a patty, and it doesn't have any animal in it, and it's really good. And yeah, I mean, and in here, at least in Houston, because there's it's like a very Mexican. It's like a very Mexican place to be. Like there's many Mexicans, so the Mexican culture here is very present,
Uh-huh.
and also Salvadoran and Honduran and other Central American, and now Venezuelans also, and now Cubans are coming here too. But the thing is that
Okay.
uh, Mexican, that's the most prevalent, and those Mexican markets and stuff, they have a bunch of texturized soy. They have beans
Mm-hmm.
up the wazoo, like all kinds of beans, and even
Mm-hmm.
they say like vegan refried beans, because refried beans sometimes they're not vegan
Uh-huh.
because they
Oh,
make them
really?
with lard. But these ones, there's cans of refried beans that are vegan, and they sell them at
Uh-huh.
Mexican markets and everything, which is kind of weird because those Mexican places also sell a bunch of dead animals. So it's like you have the two things at the same time. You know, it is what it is. By the
Yeah, here you
bean,
don't have
yes, not like so.
here you don't have so much present the kind of like South or Central American
Mm.
cuisine, let's say, but there's a lot of let's say like Asian
Mm-hmm.
influence, and it's crazy how you wouldn't think like Asians as being like plant-based or like vegan friendly, but actually
Mm-hmm.
their supermarkets are full of so many like uh these kind of like texturized soy in so
Mm-hmm.
many shapes and forms. They have like these um shrimps made out of like another like a plant or something, but simulating the same like, so but
Ah, right,
also they
yeah.
have like they also have meat and like
Mm,
animals, let's say dead
yeah,
animals on shelves, but they
that
have
too.
like a huge variety of plant-based options, so it's cool
Yeah, the Asian markets, they have all the good tofu, and it's
and quite
inexpensive. It's
affordable. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's more inexpensive in the Asian places, and you have like the rice, that rice paper thing. You can make a whole bunch of
Ah, yeah,
stuff with
yeah.
the
Mhm.
rice paper,
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of stuff. They're really, yeah, they eat a bunch of vegetables and rice and noodles and stuff. Some of the noodles are not vegan, but some are. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
depending on which one. So yeah, they're really good for that. And the Mexican
Yeah.
cuisine is
That's
also
cool.
very vegan friendly. It's easy to do. And in here, the best vegan restaurants are all Mexican restaurants. Almost all of them
Hmm.
are just
Mexican food
Mexican.
is amazing. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that too with the plant-based shrimps that looks like shrimps with color and shape. Yeah, but I don't know. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
I
Like,
haven't tried them or buy them, but
I'm like, yeah, yeah,
I guess they're
no,
good. I
I
don't know.
don't know. Yeah, but I would be like, oh no. I used to back in the day. I did sometimes I would eat like the shrimp cocktail or something, but I was like, that was never my thing.
Hmm.
It was never sea animals kind of guy. I was never into that.
Hmm.
But yeah, many people were. But in Venezuela, I mean, I guess well, you've been to like these places. I don't know if you ever went to like Margarita and stuff. They sell these
Yeah.
uh, baby shark empanadas, these empanadas de cazón, which is
Yeah.
like a shark. I don't remember
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
name of the shark in English, but it's like a small shark. And I was like, oh yeah, these empanadas, whatever. And I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I wish they had them like plant based, but it was very very famous over there over that region. But I don't know. Everyone, that's another thing. Everyone says the same thing. Like, oh, my culture is like all this meat-based culture and whatnot, and it's like every country is the same. Like we all have animal-based traditional
yeah.
dishes. Like there's no country where the tradition is just rice and beans. Like that, the
There's not
tradition,
like innovation, it's not.
it's all
I don't
different
know.
ways to season the dead animal
Yeah,
and to
yeah.
chop them up. Yeah,
And they only use like two or three vegetables and potatoes, rice. That's it. And you're like, seriously, this is like
yeah.
the, I don't know, fine dining you're talking about,
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Like I don't know, and it's like different versions of dead animals. So and
yeah,
different dead animals depending on the region too. Cause some regions they're more
yeah.
into like different animals and stuff. But it's kind of weird. It's almost like the same five animals. It's not like there's much variety anyway, unless you go to like other continents and stuff where they have other stuff.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
try, but yeah, it was kind of yeah really good and simulate the taste of shrimp. Yeah, I don't know, like I don't think I would
Mhm.
really, especially if they really mimic that too well. Then I'd be like, yeah, nah, not for me.
I mean, if anyone does it, or I mean, if a vegan person, let's say, does it, or if I do it, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem. Also, I mean, me personally, wouldn't do it, and I try my best not to buy or like to try this stuff regularly, because it really reminds me, of the animal. But I also wouldn't have
Ah,
a problem with anyone just doing it. I mean, again, it's just plants in the shape of, it's like eating these kind of like animal cookies, like cookies in the shape of animals.
right.
So it's like, oh, I'm not going to eat them because there's like a lion here. So you're not harming anyone anyway, so
Right, exactly.
shouldn't get
And
like
I
so.
yeah, but actually I think animal crackers are actually vegan friendly. Like I think they're not made with like
Hmm.
milk or anything like that I know of, but maybe some brands or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is a good comment from Entice. Like Jordan was also asking what's the difference between plant-based food and bean burgers and lab-grown muscle as burgers, because that's what he thought you meant about changing. Yeah, he went on this really kind of, I mean, commodification status is the mentality you guys were talking about, and he couldn't understand that. Hey, Carrie, you're here. You're awesome. Yes, entice. That's the thing. Like, what would be the difference? Well, Vicente said it best when he said, like, yeah, but the plant-based stuff is plants. It's not animals.
Yeah.
And you're not really simulating an animal. You're simulating the product that they made the animal appear as. So, in the
Exactly.
first place, you're not simulating the animal. At least that's how I see it. You're not simulating because the cow should have never been made into a burger patty in the first place. So you're
Mhm.
just simulating a product that they made, not really the animal.
Or nuggets or sausages. I mean, these are not animals if you
Exactly,
think,
like pigs
these are
don't.
just made up
Exactly,
shapes. So,
exactly. It's just the made-up shapes that we gave animal flesh. So
hmm,
it's not really, you're not representing the animal. Now, obviously, you're calling them by whatever the animal product was called and whatnot to make
yeah,
an easy, like, you already have that connection. Like, oh, okay, sausages. I know what a sausage is, even though people don't actually know what a sausage is because it's just absolutely disgusting. It's like it's even worse than anything else. Like one of the worst things. Like even if you went from a health-based standpoint, it's like the sausage is like one of the worst things you can consume in your life. Like
hmm,
all those things are just the worst things to consume, and obviously they come from beings that were not really giving their permission to do any of that to them. Yeah, rejecting their
exactly.
commodification is the mentality. Yeah, but they don't understand that. I don't know why, but they just didn't understand that point.
I had the feeling that they weren't even listening to you guys, because like you and Vicente, you were making these great points,
Mm.
and you guys were really speaking in a very clear way, let's say. and then they just hit you at like, hypothetically speaking. Seriously, it's
Yeah, yeah,
they were
exactly.
just like how to say, one-sided. They were not
Yeah.
into a debate. They were just like spewing whatever
I
was
mean,
for
yeah,
them.
I think we
Yeah.
all came with our arguments to that, and we all had the thing we wanted to say, and no one. I don't think anyone's mind changed all that much. I wasn't
Hmm.
like convinced of whatever their position was, and they weren't really convinced of our position. But yeah, and Thais is saying something really important here. Right, since my mentality
Hmm.
has changed, I can eat an animal free, plant based burger and never see or think of cows. Exactly.
Yeah,
Because it's just
exactly.
some disc, it's just some salty disc of whatever,
It's a shape,
plants, whatever it
whatever. Yeah.
is. It doesn't matter. It wasn't an individual. So it doesn't
Hmm.
matter. It's just some disc, savory disc of something, and that's it. That's nothing. There's nothing there. That wonder why I can't see Carrie. Well, Carrie was lurking, but I don't know. Like I wonder why I can't see. Uh-huh. If veganism is rejecting the community, is someone who feed their animal other animal body parts actually holding the vegan principle? Yeah, that's the thing. Ideally, you would not do that. Ideally, you wouldn't even have like you know pets or something in an ideal world, but that world is like I don't know far from existing right now. So it's kind of there's
Yeah.
many things to this. Obviously, preferably I would prefer that no one did that, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
And actually, it's like, if I'm vegan, for example, why would I get a, I don't know, a piranha or a cat, or like, why would I get an animal that is like, his diet is mainly like meat, so why?
Yeah.
I do understand the whole thing about having or not animal companions. I think that, I mean, if you have the resources to give them a good life, then go for it. Because, I mean, we have bred them into existence, and I feel like we have a moral responsibility to take care of them. Only when you have the possibility to do so,
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. At this point, I mean, I love dogs, and I wish I had tons of them and everything. But I don't know if from a vegan point of view, I mean, am I taking away the freedom of this animal, or like, just because of, like, to fulfill my need of being like loved by furry things, like, I don't
Hmm.
know. It's I don't know. It's a complicated
Yes,
subject, but
it
for
is
anyone
kind
who
of
can
complicated.
take care of them, yeah,
Yeah, it is kind of a complicated
yeah.
thing. But yeah, nurse psychos, that's a great question. Like, do you think lab meat will compete with plant meat instead of competing with dead animal meat? Absolutely. That's actually one of my other fears is that this lab grown meat will make it so that the plant based companies are going to go, whatever, why do this if we have this now, this other technology which is even easier to do, or or people, it's like, I don't know, it's gonna be weird. I've already seen like some lab grown or some plant based companies are thinking of mixing animal fat into it and stuff like that. It's just not.
Okay.
Uh, David, hairy men lining up. Oh man, sure.
I do have an idea that I mean, I see this lab grown meat actually not as a vegan kind of alternative. I see it more as a factory farming alternative, because in the long run, I mean, if you think, like, environmentally speaking, I'm not like a connoisseur of environment issues, but I mean, the truth is that factory farming is not sustainable, right? And it won't be sustainable in the long run. So I actually see factory farming maybe reducing, but just because maybe it could be more affordable to do this kind of lab grown meat. But I
Yeah,
don't see. I mean, but I don't know, because it's so easy when this guy was saying like, oh, they grabbed a feather from a sanctuary or whatever. No, probably there would be animals enslaved that would be taking their cells and produce this, like, I don't know, but I don't see it as a, I don't see lab grown meat as a, from a vegan standpoint. I see it more as another solution, like a more environmental solution to factory farming. This has nothing to do with veganism, I think.
yeah, that might be the other thing. Maybe that's another thing that I think these companies or these industries, they're realizing that their model is not really sustainable, that they're running
Yeah.
out of resources, running out of land, that they're ruining everything, and they need to still be alive and making money. So they're maybe thinking, hey, this lab grown stuff might be the
Hmm.
thing, like the lifesaver. Like it's just going to be this artificial respiration
Yeah.
machine to hook up the meat people, because that's what
This
it's
is
going
why
to
I see
be.
this I see this on the side of the meat industry. I don't see this linked in any way in the vegan movement, so, because this is just like it's going to be it's a new market for meat.
I think
So
so. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. It's we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But even if this lab grown meat becomes a thing, like I'm telling you, I don't see the market for it. They were saying that they had this
Mhm.
survey, which they didn't even mention any sources or where that thing was conducted or not. They just came up with a graphic that showed that, yeah, 67% of meat eaters are willing to try the lab grown stuff. But like I said, yeah, they might be
It
willing.
was like this survey. Believe it.
Ah, yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, believe me,
oh,
bro.
it's
Yeah.
reversed.
Believe me, bro.
You
Yeah, I
get
got
it.
it right here. Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
believe me, I have the proof.
Yeah, let me. Yeah,
Well, wait, Wikipedia.
yeah. 67%. Yeah, sure. 67. Like, I mean,
69%.
yeah, 69%. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Out of 420 people were asked, 69% of them said that they were winning. Yeah. That's what the Mike, the Corn King would say. We took a sample of 420 people, and 69% of them said they were winning. Yeah, sure. But even if they tried it,
yeah.
doesn't mean that they're going to stick to it. Doesn't mean that they're gonna like it or anything like that. Like I really don't
No.
imagine, like, I don't know, those places like Texas do Brazil. Like that's a horrible place where they feed you meat every 5 minutes. They bring you a different cut of dead animal. I don't see them like
Mhm.
incorporating this lab grown stuff, or maybe they will. I don't know,
Well,
but it's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
kind of weird. I don't know. It's taking such a long time to the plant based stuff to actually grab a market that I fear like this lab grown stuff is just going to substitute all that. And I don't know, but I don't care because I'm if it comes to that, I just eat my chickpeas, beans, pasta,
Lentils and rice, and that's
lentils. I'm not much
it.
of a rice eater really, but yeah, I'm
Mhm.
gonna just gonna go to my chickpeas and stuff, which is really good. Like chickpeas, I discovered that chickpeas with pasta sauce and nutritional yeast is freaking awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Anything with
freaking awesome.
pasta sauce is good, and
Yeah,
anything with nooch, top.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, of course it is. So I just that's just my recipe for everything. Beans with
Mm.
pasta sauce and nooch. Chickpeas with pasta sauce and nooch. Pasta with pasta sauce and yeah,
Pasta sauce with pasta sauce.
yeah, exactly. Pasta sauce. In fact, that's what I'm drinking here. Pasta sauce.
Pasta sauce.
Yeah,
When they take blood samples of you, it's just like pasta sauce
yeah,
coming out.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I'm doing a pasta sauce based diet. So yeah,
You should write a book, like a
that's my
nutrition based
ingredients.
on nutrition.
Yeah, sure. Ingredients: pasta sauce, iodized salt, and nooch. That's it. I don't do anything
It
else.
hydrates your body, it nurtures your body.
Sure. So as you can
Might be
see, yeah,
highly addictive in
yeah,
like small letters.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I discovered also that lentils with, you guessed it, pasta
Pasta
sauce
sauce.
and nooch actually taste like pizza. It's
Aha.
freaking weird, but it tastes exactly like pizza. I was like, what the
That's
heck
very
is
hard
this?
to believe, but I will have to try it
It
out
does.
then.
Try it sometime. It's weird, but it does. I was like, what the heck? These lentils, this tastes like pizza. That's kind of crazy, but yeah, it does. So yeah,
Mm.
and that's just my recipes for everything.
But the green lentils, right? And you
Yeah,
buy them like
the
canned
green
or
lentils.
the like hard
Well, I
ones?
get them like in a bag. It's like they sell them by the bag.
Okay, not okay. So you
Like a.
cook them and then the
I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah, I cook them. Yeah.
yeah, of course you don't eat them raw with pasta
No.
sauce,
Yeah, no, that would
but
be, yeah, too weird. But yeah, I do cook them. Yeah,
okay,
but I
okay.
don't wait like a whole day to do that. I just put them in water for like an hour or something. Then I
Yeah.
grow bored out of my mind with it. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna cook you now, lentils. I'm not gonna wait a day. And they come out good. They don't need to be 20 hours soaking in water. That's actually not the case. At least for the green lentils. Obviously, they're a little bit bigger than the red lentils, because I've had red lentils,
Mhm.
but I didn't like them that much because they're like, they don't really get. I mean, I don't know. They don't grow too much, and they are more
Yeah.
mushy, inconsistent. Like, I don't know.
The
I
thing is that
didn't
they cook
really.
faster.
They
They
do.
get ready faster than the green ones. So if you're not careful enough, you end up with like a sauce, like a lentil sauce.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It can get like a
uh,
paste or something, sure.
mm,
Okay, yeah, Asparagua is saying, I think plant-based meat will ultimately prevail over both lab meat and real animal meat. I hope,
that
but
would be good.
that would be great. I don't know. But anyway, there's like, tofu with red lentils. Ah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. You can make tofu out
Mm.
of anything, basically. And I've been trying to find that pizza flavor hummus that I saw in a group in Facebook. The only reason I don't delete Facebook is because there's a bunch of groups. So I'm on
Yeah.
this vegan Walmart group, and they have a whole bunch of
Uh-huh.
products that they find, and they take pictures. And I was like, oh, so pizza flavored hummus, that seems
Wow.
like a winner. But I haven't seen it. I haven't found it in
Ingredient
my local
pasta
one.
sauce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ingredients: pasta sauce. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'm not very, like, when it comes to like cooking or something, because it's just for myself. So what do I
Hmm.
care? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just toss this thing in a pan and
Hmm.
let it like defrost, because I buy everything like frozen already or pre-made,
Hmm.
whatever. That's the gringo lifestyle. Everything is already pre-made, pre-chopped, pre-everything. All you have to do is
Okay.
just pour it
Okay.
onto the thing and just heat it up, and it's already made. So you don't need to
I'm
do
totally
anything.
the total opposite. Like I only get like fresh. I mean, not
Right.
I don't go to like fresh markets or anything because they're very expensive. But I go to just like random supermarkets and get the vegetables. And when I see, for example, like whole vegetables, and then when you have them in like a I don't know like a plate all chopped with the plastic around, and I'm like, I mean, how lazy
Yeah.
can you be not to just chop the fucking vegetable yourself? And then it's like, come on, people,
Yeah.
seriously. So I when I see that, I'm like, I look angry at the chopped vegetables. No, I want the whole vegetable. I will cut it myself, thank you.
Right.
And yeah, but I understand you with the, for example, when I just cook for myself, I just keep it simple because like I don't do much of an effort. But if I have like friends coming over or I go to a party or whatever, I always make sure to do like a whole elaborate dish,
Right.
because it's
I don't know, I feel better when I do it for other people, you know. But for myself, it's kind of like, okay, I just eat raw broccoli and that's it, I'm fine. And then when I go to someone's house, oh, like a lasagna and stuff, you know.
All right, yeah. Yeah,
But
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't cook for others, so that's the thing. Maybe if I did, I'd be more creative than just pasta sauce, you know. But who knows? Okay, so Entice is actually making a really good point here. Let's say 30 years
hmm,
from now, animals exploited for food are lower and billions of animals are still exploited. What will utilitarians talk about then? 30 years wasted on lab grown. That was
Yeah,
one of my points that I'm trying to make. That this thing is just going to be a product that's out there and it's going to be parallel to the already existing thing. I don't
yeah,
really see it because let's say the person who regularly buys meat at the supermarket and they buy, I don't know, I don't know, let's say 5 kilos of meat. Now
hmm,
they might buy the 5 kilos of meat and then to try it out, they buy one of the lab grown. What's the difference? They still bought the same quantity that they did before, and now they're just adding a new thing that they're gonna try.
yeah.
Now it could be that later on, if they prefer that one, they're gonna buy more of that one or whatever. Let's say that this happens, but to me, it's just it doesn't. There's no real correlation between. There's not going to be like, oh, they're buying this lab grown meat, so that means that they're not buying the other one. Like that's not gonna be the math. The math is gonna be that it's just a product that's out there, and the
Yeah,
buying of it won't make a dent
and
in the already existing one.
it's going to be a whole battle against, like a whole marketing battle against like factory farming and lab grown meat. You know, there
Right.
will be like all of this propaganda going around of like
Ah,
maybe
right.
farmers saying that, yeah, but this is a real animal and this, and talking bad about lab grown meat, and then lab, so it will be like years of just coming back and
Yeah,
forth for
sure.
what, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we're gonna have
such a waste of time
farmers.
and energy
Yeah,
and resources.
yeah, we're gonna have farmers like making advertisements and stuff like they're taking away
Yeah,
our hard-earned money with these
farmers on
scientists.
strike and
Yeah,
stuff.
farmers on strike and stuff like that. And well, nerds like us says don't cut vegetables in front of Sky. Man, like Sky gets weird when he's seeing someone cook. He's like, no, that's not how you cut vegetables. And like, bro,
Aha.
yes, yeah, he's kind of weird with that because I guess he's been working on the those industries, restaurants and stuff
Ah,
back in
okay.
the
So
day.
he's a
He
pro. Okay.
So he knows about it. He knows like the actual procedures and stuff. So he gets really weird about it. He's like, no, you're gonna cut your
That's
fingers.
not how you
This
grab a
is
knife. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how you grab a knife. If he sees me cooking,
Okay.
that's it. Friendship over. I don't think he's gonna like. Okay,
Okay.
but
Noted.
yeah, like no. But yeah, they could eat lab meat 1 day a week instead of animal meat to lower their environmental impact. Whatever.
Yeah.
LLL says emojis. Hi. Yeah, okay. Hi. They're gonna cut themselves. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. Will they become abolitionists? No, they're just gonna say the same thing Jordan said to me, like, or the other guy, right? I don't remember who was the one who, like, oh, but don't you see that there's fewer horses? Like, bro, really? Like, don't you see like the rodeo, the horse racing, all the
Yeah.
equine based activities, polo? It's freaking ridiculous. Like, it's all there still. So I don't know. Plus transportation, cargo, and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You will see the farmers going on strike, and then you
yeah.
will see the intersectional vegans talking about them, you know, poor
All right, yeah.
farmers.
The poor farmers and their
Because
families. Mwah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
poor
This
psycho
is
who's making a career out of exploiting others. That's not a career, really. Like if your job description is these horrible things that you do to others, like just get another career path. Like you chose the wrong
yeah.
profession.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
was watching this live stream with Carnism debunked, and then like David and Thais, and they were talking about that, and the whole international intersectional thing And I remember how horrible it was, like especially during COVID and all of this with the Black Lives Matter and everything. I remember that back in the day, I used to follow like some vegan, let's say like activists, and they were reposting videos of these like BML protests where people were riding horses, and then I was like, why are you, like I was telling them, like, why are you reposting or like sharing this when you see the animal? I mean, why do you take an animal to a protest to begin with? And then the people were replying me, like these vegan activists, like replying to me like, oh, don't you know that there are bigger issues? And I was like, oh, okay, I'm done, unfollow. I'm not even going to talk anymore.
Right.
This is way gone.
Right, exactly. Oh, look, it's
Yeah.
Sky Jack Morgan saying, guys, I just decided I'm going to be intersectional utilitarian from now on. Oh, no, he's going to be intersectional utilitarian, of course. No, that's terrible. We were
We
just
should chop
talking.
some vegetables so he gets angry enough to become
Right,
vegan again.
exactly. We were just talking about you and your weird obsession with people chopping up vegetables the wrong way. So, yeah. Gah! Oh, man. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Mike the Corn King. We actually talked about you a little bit, making some
We're
jokes.
talking about everyone, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about everyone here. Got by the 10,000. Yeah. By the way, well, yeah, we do have an announcement to make. Seeing that there's many people here in the house at this moment, so we're just gonna take the opportunity to let you know that we're creating. We just created a new YouTube channel for Marlene and I. It's gonna be called Two Potatoes Talking. It's gonna be like a podcast kind of thing, or a spotcast. Get it? Because it's two potatoes talking. So that's gonna be cool. We're gonna have that YouTube channel is already there, and we're gonna be making these live streams on that channel. It's gonna be really really interesting. We're gonna talk about all topics, vegan related and stuff. So it's gonna be really cool. And yeah, we just created that channel, so I might leave the link in the description and everything, so you can go there and subscribe and all that. There's no material right now there, but we're it's under construction.
Yeah, it's going to be very casual also, so let's
But
see.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like vegan, of course, says what is a bigger issue than 50,000 animals being unalive every second of every day? I don't
Mm,
know. There's no issue like it. And not only that, it's just that the majority of people are not only okay with it, they participate in it. And so
yeah.
that's the worst part about it. What's worse, 51K? Okay, yeah, that would be worse. Yeah, Asparagus, yeah, thank you for that. That's what a utilitarian would say. Like, this is 50,000 and this is
Exactly.
51,000. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you eat a donut and you kill 10 insects, it's worse than just shooting one deer. It's like, no, dude. Like, you're
Yeah.
mentally, you're like an intellectual dwarf. You're not killing 1,000 insects for a vegan donut. You're killing a deer on purpose.
Yeah.
You're taking a life for yourself. Spotcast sounds great. Yeah, leak the video, everybody. Yeah, that's right, Mike. Thank you for being here. I just saw Mike recently playing video games and stuff, and he's got like a corn
Mhm.
hat. That's really cool. Making a whole, image of the corn thing. He's really the corn theme is really theming. It's really theming. It is good.
Ah.
They are complicit.
Talking about games, there's this. I mean, I'm not a huge. I mean, I used to be when I was younger, not anymore. But there's this game. I don't play it. I just watch it. I'm more like a game watcher kind of person. I know, a little embarrassing, but there's this game that is called The Forest. I don't know if you know it.
Probably,
There's
but
like
I don't know.
there's like a second part now that it's called Sons of the Forest, and it's basically like you are like a survivor from a plane crash, and you end up in an island. And the thing is that this island was used by the elite. They built like bunkers and like golf courses, and it was just like for people who were like worthy enough to live there. But somehow all of these people kind of like disappeared. I don't want to give up too much information because this is a game that the whole story is not like at the beginning. You need to discover stuff. But anyway, the thing is that you're stuck in an island with cannibals and with mutants, and you need to survive. Of course, you can find like food on these bunkers, like dried noodles and cereal boxes from all of these people. But
Okay.
of course, you need to sometimes go around the island to explore. And there is an achievement on this game that is like the vegan achievement. If you are able to do the whole game just by
Okay.
not killing animals and hunting them. And it's really cool because I mean, normally people would just like, there's rabbits and deers and I don't know, turtles, and you can just hunt them and use the meat and stuff. But there's also like berries and all of that,
Ah.
and it's quite cool, because also you can build weapons and traps, but also you can build like let's say like farming beds, and you collect seeds and you can make your own vegetables and stuff. So it's quite nice, yeah.
I think I saw someone play that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw someone play that. Someone played a game that was kind of like that. Like they were on this island and they were trying
Yeah,
to do it like in a vegan way, like complete the game in a
yeah,
vegan
you can make
way.
your own cabin and stuff, and
Yeah.
I mean you can even eat the cannibals, you not. So it's very open-minded kind of game. But
Right.
I like it that it's like there's an achievement for you if you do the whole game like vegan, not kill a single animal, and it's doable also, so it's really really nice.
All right. And Ty says, hack the game and add my song, Hunters. Listen up. Ah, that could be cool. Yeah. I've seen some vegans doing Minecraft playthroughs for fun. Ah, yeah, I was never really into that Minecraft thing. Basically, because when it came
Mhm.
out, I was already like at a time like where I'm like, no, this kind of thing is not like not really for me. But
I'm already too old,
I
so.
mean, but it's I don't know. There are video games where I guess you could take a vegan route. I used to play this game
Hmm.
called Spore, and in Spore you go from like a cell to like a sentient creature, and then you explore outer space and everything, and you go to different planets
Aha.
and meet different races and stuff. So you go from cell to land animal to tribe, civilization, and then space
Aha,
age.
like you evolve
Yeah.
somehow. Cool.
So the cool thing is at first you can choose. You can be omnivorous, you can be carnivorous or vegetarian. So you put different parts in the animal. You build the animal's DNA with whatever you wanted. So you have parts
Aha.
for vegetarian, you have parts for carnivore and stuff. So you can make it vegetarian, and they only eat the hypothetical Martians invading Africa. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's kind of the thing. So you can make
Uh,
it a vegetarian thing, and then when you go to the civilization and stuff, you can make them non-confrontational. Even in the animal stage, you don't have to
aha.
fight other animals. You can just be friendly and put like ornaments on the animals and dance and whatnot, and this will make friends with the other tribes and stuff. So you don't have to confront anyone, and at some point you
Yeah.
can do like a religious route where everyone's just like you're sending a
Okay.
message with like, yeah, believe in this, and everyone will just be peaceful and stuff. So you don't have to fight anyone, you don't have to kill anyone, you can make it like a peaceful route.
Hmm.
It's kind of cool, or you can go full crazy, and yeah, annihilate everyone,
Yeah.
whatever you want.
on this game Sons of the Forest, it's like it's so weird because uh the animals that are there, like they don't attack you unless you attack them, you know, like
Hmm.
deers that are huge or whatever. If you attack them, of course they're going to defend, but most of the animals like rabbits or whatever, they run away from you. But the cannibals, they attack you, so why not eat them, you know? So I'm like, and there's like recipes and everything. There's like you can cook as well, and there's like a recipe that is called chicken soup, and
Okay.
the ingredients are dry like instant noodles and a cannibal's leg. So, and I was like, okay.
Okay.
but but yeah, no, these games
Yeah.
are really interesting, let's
Mm.
say.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as Paraguay saying that there's a game called Undertale. Yeah, I started playing Undertale, but I stopped it. Now that game is really, really freaky because at first
Uh-huh.
I faced like a flower creature, and the creature was like, "Oh, this is some sparkles that I'm giving you and whatnot." And I was like, "This seems suspicious because I know the game does tricks to you." But I was like, okay, give me these sparks and whatnot. And no, it was taking my character's life. It was an attack. And then the flower
Okay.
went like changed their face and stuff. And I was like, ah ha ha ha, I'm going to kill you and whatnot. But apparently, if you stop the game and you restart it and start playing like with different decisions, the games call you out on it. Like the game knows that you were playing it before and that you're changing the
Uh-huh.
outcome now, playing it a second time. They call you out on it. Like no, that's not gonna work here. Yeah, I know you're doing this. Like
Wow.
that's kind of like what the heck?
Technology.
That's kind of crazy, you know? Yeah, there are some freaky games that don't do things like that. That one does that. I
Uh-huh.
found two games on Steam called Mr. Vegan and Vegan Challenge, which I'll play at some point. Oh, that would be awesome. I want to see that definitely. There's another game. In fact, I've been meaning to make a video about it. It's just that it's going to be very long, and I have to do like I want to do a cool thing about it. But there's this game that I've been meaning to talk about. It's called Shadow of the Colossus. That game, there's
Hmm.
no vegan way to play it. There's just essentially you have no vegan way to play it. It's not because the guy basically is just some guy who we don't really know from the game the relationship he had with this girl, but she was killed by some religious cult because she was cursed or something. That's the official statement that he gives. He goes to these forbidden lands and asks this entity to revive her, but the entity has been separated into 16 parts that reside within the bodies of 16 colossi, these colossal
Uh-huh.
creatures. So they're sentient creatures that you have to go and kill each one to free this entity, and then the entity will grant you the wish to revive the
Mm-hmm.
lady that you want to revive. But the character, no way to play the game in a vegan way. Oh, AJ Feyna turn his P card. Yeah. There's no way, there's no vegan way to play it. And I'll tell you why. Because of these two
Uh-huh.
things. The character, you don't get a choice to not kill the creatures. If you want to complete the game, you have to do that. There's no option. That's what you have to do. And then the character rides a horse throughout the game. So he's on top of an animal, trying to make him go where, well, make her, because it's a female horse, it's a mare, not a horse, a female. So he's riding this creature and going everywhere to kill these other creatures. Now, Shadow of the Colossus is a good game, but you ride a horse and kill giant beings. Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, no vegan way to play Pokemon either. Yeah, exactly. It's not vegan at all.
I
Like,
mean, these are all like virtual, so
yeah, I
is
guess
it?
it's virtual and stuff, but the thing is that in universe, like the guy within the game, like you're killing 16 creatures to revive some lady that we don't even know your relationship to the lady or whatever. So the thing is,
Maybe it was
you
a toxic relationship.
yeah, maybe we don't know what
Was
happened.
the lady that great? You know,
We don't know if the she was just his crush and he was just like
maybe she
whatever.
made good pasta sauce. You know.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But the thing is, you kill these 16 creatures, and when you face them, they don't really attack you. Most of them don't really attack you.
Oh,
And
really? Poor creatures.
Omar, no, dude. Like, first of all, like, look at her. Does she look single to you? Oh man, Omar, no, 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 no. Okay, I mean, like playing peaceful games just because it makes me feel. Yeah, I mean, I found some peaceful games actually. It's kind of nice, and games where you
Solitary.
don't have to when you don't have to shoot anyone or anything. But yeah, but that Shadow of the Colossus, yeah, you have to kill those creatures, and they don't even attack you. They don't really
Yeah.
they don't really attack you. I mean, they try to shake you off because you have to climb on top of them because they're gigantic creatures. You're just
Okay.
some guy there, just regular guy. You're not even a warrior. You're nothing. You're just some guy with a sword and a bow and arrow. And these creatures have to climb on top of them and stab them and whatnot. And when you do, they wince in
Mm,
pain. They try to shake you off, and they're even curious
mm,
to see you. They're not even at first. They don't. They're most of them are not even confrontational. They're just curious to see, who's that guy or whatever. So you're killing them out of nothing. Some attack you on the spot, but you're going to their territory and you're going to where they live, and you're bothering them.
exactly. You're like invading,
Yeah,
basically.
you're invading their space and you're the one bothering them, and they show these signs of curiosity, pain, all of these. So they display emotions and stuff. So I take that they're sentience. I've seen video essays where they say, well, the creatures might not be sentient or whatnot, but I think they are. I think they're just like, some of them are like humanoid, some are more, they look more like animals and
Yeah.
stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
they display the same behaviors and stuff, and they feel pain. And when you kill them, there's like a slow motion shot where they're like falling and to the ground and stuff, and there's like a really sad music playing. Like, at first the music is all heroic and stuff, but then when you actually kill them, there's a sad music in slow motion, and you see the colossus falling and stuff. You're like, yeah, maybe this wasn't like a good thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
when you're in video game mindset, you're like, yeah, I have to do the mission and kill the creatures because that's what we're used to. But in this game, that's not necessarily a
Yeah.
good thing. So I don't know. There's no way to
But
play it.
that's nice, man. I mean, maybe it's a game that makes you think, especially like in movies when you watch a movie and that it makes you feel like uncomfortable. Let's say maybe this
Mm.
game when you kill these giants, it makes you feel uncomfortable, and maybe that's on purpose to like not have
Well,
like a linear kind of game
yeah,
with a story and that's it, but also to make you
yeah,
feel emotions,
yeah.
probably.
Which by the way, in that game, the horse or the mare actually, it's interesting because she doesn't listen to your commands, especially at first. So this
Hmm.
kind of tells you that the guy probably just stole the mare, and
Okay. So
wasn't pissed.
you're just playing a horrible person in the
even
whole game.
even though he does call her by name, so maybe he's got like they know each other or something, but she doesn't listen to your commands at first.
Yeah.
It's not a game where you're like on top of her and like you're driving the horse or something. No, you're you're controlling the guy, trying to control the horse, but the horse just does whatever, like, that doesn't listen to you at first. And then
Okay.
the worst part of the game, obviously, where everyone cries, is when you're going to this bridge and you're making the run, but the bridge starts falling apart, and the horse jumps you to the other side, and they fall seemingly to their death. And everyone's like, "Oh no, the horse, whatever." And man, you eat chicken and stuff, so stop, like, so it's
And you
like
were
that.
riding the horse the whole time. Maybe that
Yeah,
horse was like, you know what,
exactly.
fuck it. I'd
Yeah,
rather be
exactly.
dead.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the
Oh,
game, actually,
yes.
you don't actually,
Kind of-
yeah, you don't actually get away with the thing. Not to spoil anything, I guess, but your character doesn't
yeah.
actually get the happy ending that they wanted. The girl does get revived, but you don't really get to be with her. You're like consumed by this entity or whatever. And then the horse
Yeah.
comes back just with a limp leg, but they come back and make a recovery. and they go on to live in a peaceful garden with the lady and some now a baby that's supposed to be like your reincarnation or something. It's kind of weird at the end,
Wow.
but Japanese game, so kind of weird.
Japanese game?
Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus,
Yeah,
really great. It's freaking awesome, just one of the best. But yeah, the game does make you feel something, like it does make you think like maybe this guy is not that good of a protagonist. When people feel
yeah,
empathy for sentient animals, I encourage that because they're on the right track. But then I ask them to extend that to all animals. Yeah, everyone's sad when the dog
yeah,
dies in the movie or something, but then they're eating like chicken wings and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird, that cognitive dissonance, right? That happens.
yeah,
And like that movie All Yeller, where the dog, it's a classic movie where the dog gets like rabies or something, and then they have to shoot him to put
mm.
him down, and everyone's like, oh no, All Yeller. Yeah, but like you're eating like burgers and pizza and whatnot. So
Yeah. Some people just don't want to think about it. To be honest, they just ignore it many times.
it's kind of weird how we assign different jobs to different animals and different representations. Like, oh, your dog, okay, you're going to be a companion, and you're going to be a family member.
Yeah, yeah,
And this other animal, where you're going to be transportation, and you're going to be this, and it's like that's kind of weird.
yeah.
Does see that people look at before they decide they want to see a movie? Why isn't there
Ah,
a
yeah. I know that. It's
huh?
not. It's not like a movie. It's like a website. It's a website called
Does
"Does the
the
Dog
dog
Die?"
die? Ah, okay.
And
Does the
then
dog die?
you see, you put like the name of the movie and see if the dog dies or not, just to avoid
Yeah,
watching
but it's not
or
just the
not.
dog. It's like it tells you what kind of scenes are going to be shown in the movie, I
Yeah, yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah.
So you can
Also, yeah, if
avoid.
they're
Yeah.
like I think Ricky Gervais talks about it in one of his like stand-ups, like
All
saying
right.
like how ridiculous this kind of like search bar has become on this website, because there's also for people saying, like, for example, does this movie contains like racial remarks or something, so people don't choose not to watch it. But then he was saying
Mm.
something like putting like Schindler's List and saying like, does this movie have like Nazi like ideology behind it? And I was like,
Oh no.
seriously. I was like,
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
uh,
No.
but yeah, you can put anything basically and see if it's, yeah.
Ah, nice. Yeah, because something I used to do back in the day before IMDb went like with like a payment option or something, because it used to be completely free and you could just
But it's free
search.
still,
I
huh?
mean, it's free, but some parts are not accessible unless you pay some subscription or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like some trivia sections or something are not open to public. So
Okay.
the thing is that what I used to do was, okay, this movie seems kind of crazy, so I'm just gonna look in the parental advisory, whatever, to see if it features any graphic scenes. And some movies I avoided watching because of that. I was like, oh no, if this is what's gonna be in there, then yeah, no.
Really?
Like for example, that movie Antichrist. I just haven't seen it. I refuse to watch it. Sorry,
It's so cool. It's
not
so cool.
sorry.
It's
I'm not
so,
gonna. No,
yeah.
sorry. I'm not gonna watch that. Hell
Really?
to the
No, I
no.
never. I go totally full blank on movies.
No,
I
I
just I
don't.
remember when we were younger and we made up like this challenge of watching like banned movies around the world,
All right.
and I don't know if you remember. And then I ended up watching. I mean, when illegal streaming was a thing back in the day, and I remember watching like Salo and movies like that.
All right.
And the next one that was on my watch list was this Animal Holocaust,
Mm.
where they kill animals, like real animals in
Ah,
the movie.
yeah, yeah.
And I remember that you told me, like, don't watch it, don't watch that movie. And then that was the only time that I actually was like, okay, if he tells me not to watch it, then
I
I
mean,
really shouldn't.
so here's the thing about
But
Cannibal Holocaust. The problem with that movie, obviously, if you're vegan, you're not gonna watch that movie because it does contain actual animals that were
It's
killed.
Cannibal Holocaust because
Yeah, yeah,
Animal
cannibal.
Holocaust is
Yeah,
a metal band. Okay,
yeah, no, no, cannibal
it's
Holocaust. They actually kill
okay.
the animals in the movie. They do kill them
Yeah,
for real.
yeah.
But would think that would be controversial enough? But the director got in trouble because people thought that the actors had actually been killed in really. So he had to actually prove that no, this was a movie. The actors are here. Hey, hello, these are the cast, and he had to
Mm,
prove that they were alive and nothing had happened to them. But they killed animals for the movie, and it's a horrible movie where a group of
mm,
people go to some South American tribe. I think it's Brazilian
mhm.
or something in the Amazon, and they film it and stuff. But then they attack the village and stuff. Like they make fun of the villagers and they kill
Mhm.
the animals there and stuff like that. And then the locals fight back.
Yeah,
And
crazy, you know.
what they do to the people in the documentary is just absolutely like horrible, you know.
Mhm.
And but yeah, it's one heck of a visceral film. Yeah, oh, it is. And Salo, the thing with Salo is that it actually contains almost a vegan message because actually the director was like this heavy anti-capitalist and anti-elitist and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So he wanted to make a message of consumerism and the depravity of the elites and the political elites
Yeah.
of Italy, mostly about Italy during the Second World War and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he wanted to make
Mhm.
something about it, and he made this art film that is really intense. It's really horrible how they treat the people there, but you think about it, it does contain kind of a vegan message. Probably not what the director intended, but
Mhm.
inadvertently, I think it does have a vegan message in there because, I mean, they treat these seemingly innocent young people in these horrible ways. They do whatever they want to them, horrible
Just for
stuff.
their pleasure,
They are for
not
their
because of
pleasure, yeah,
necessity. Yeah.
exactly for their pleasure, and they feed them this horrible stuff and whatnot. So it's kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
the same thing, and they actually have them on leashes and walking like dogs at some point and stuff like that. So if you
Mhm.
think about it, there's a connection there. I do think there's like a vegan message there. The only thing is a really intense film to watch. So
It's not easy. Yeah.
this comedian Bill Hader, he did this bit where he went to a video store and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is like a first date kind of movie, salon." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, you try that. You try that for a first date. There's not gonna be a second one. I'm telling you." Or the lady is so like kind of intense and she likes that. Who knows? Yeah, there's only two
Yeah.
possibilities. Either she's too much into it, and that's concerning, or she's like, "You're crazy," and you never get a second date.
Yeah.
Ah man, they kill.
No,
I
but
just
with movies, I
for
really
Ben
don't pay
Hur.
that much attention. I just watch it, and that's it. The Antichrist is really good. It's quite disgusting, but
Hmm.
it's like an art form. Let's say there's also
Yeah.
an Austrian movie made by an Austrian director, and it's
Mm-hmm.
called Hagatusa, and it's also so I don't know, so hard to explain because it's based on this period where witches were a thing, let's say, and then like I don't know, it's like a let's say that there's some baby eating in the movie, so it's also quite hard to watch. But I really like that sometimes when you watch a movie and it makes you feel uncomfortable. I think
Mm.
that's also it's a it's a different kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
know which movie I did watch that was kinda crazy because the director actually wanted that was the intended effect that he wanted to have. There's this, I think it's French, the movie. It's called Irreversible. And this
Oh,
movie,
I know.
yeah, this movie,
Yeah.
it features like a very famous rape scene, but the scene at first is like really erotic and stuff. But he wanted
Hmm.
to make it on purpose so that the second part of that scene is completely horrible and abhorrent and whatnot,
Hmm.
so that you feel bad for feeling aroused at first. Like he wanted to do that thing because most movies, when they do these scenes, it's always
Yeah.
kind of like erotic or whatnot. It's never really
Yeah.
about the victim or something. But this was really brutal, and I was like, this movie's too much. Like, what scene is this? What movie is this? There's a whole bunch of movies. At one point, I was really into these weird movies where they were like banning so many countries and stuff. But
Yeah.
Antichrist, I passed on that one. A Serbian film, no, thank you. I passed because at the point I discovered those, I was already out of it. I was like, no, that's it. After Salo and Cannibal Holocaust,
That was too
that's it.
much.
I have seen others. I've seen both versions of Last House on the Left. Eh, kinda there. Like it's too commercial, I guess. Too Hollywood. It's not brutal enough, really.
Yeah.
That's the
You
problem.
know that what happened to me is like for me was also easier to watch all of these movies when I was younger, like teenager, let's say, because I think I had like not such a huge sense of reality of how the world worked, you know. So I was kind of like,
Mm.
oh, cool, this is creepy and twisted. But for example, when you're starting your journey as a vegan and you start watching all of these slaughterhouse videos or like the fur industry skinning animals alive, and
Mm.
you're so much aware that this is a reality that now when I see like a very gruesome or gorish kind of movie, I immediately think like these things are happening actually just like on to another species, let's say, you know. So it's harder for me to watch actually, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, Saw
Yeah.
films. Oh, the Saw films, man, those were great
Yeah,
movies. I
these
loved
are,
them.
yeah.
I loved. I mean, the first
There are
one,
a bunch of
obviously,
new ones also.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, the first one was like the good one, and then it devolved into what they started calling torture porn. Um, but I like the all the creative, like the type of deaths and stuff.
Yeah.
It got really creative and stuff. But the first one is really good. Like I didn't even find out that the guy from that first movie was Cary Elwes. I didn't really.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy, he's mostly famous for comedy movies. He's like the blonde
Mm-hmm.
guy, like the doctor, in the first movie,
Mm-hmm.
and he's known for these comedy movies and stuff. And that one was really dramatic. And seeing him there, I didn't even recognize him, but that's Cary Elwes. That was really good.
Yeah.
Um,
What as Paraguay said, like I watched the like three Saw movies when I was younger, and I
mm.
was like, oh my god, this is amazing, you know, so cool.
my
But
my
now, yeah, but now I saw like it was like streaming somewhere. It was like Saw 5 or 6, something like that. And I mean, it was a shitty movie, like you said, like
yeah,
it's going down and down, but it was so graphic
yeah,
that I felt like puking. I was like, I cannot watch this. It's like so,
yeah,
so graphic that. So yeah, I mean, the older you get, the weaker you are. I don't know, maybe,
yeah. It does
but
happen. It does happen. Like when you're
yeah,
younger, you're definitely more into that stuff. Like, oh yeah, but then you're like,
yeah,
no, I don't want to see this anymore. And I don't know what happened to me was after watching like Dominion, Earthlings, and stuff. I'm like, listen, there's no scary movie that I can watch that will scare me because I've seen the worst part of
yeah,
hell. Literally,
totally,
I've seen the face of hell in the real world.
yeah,
So why would
yeah,
I be scared of some doll or some whatever like Annabelle or whatever? Like this doesn't scare
yeah.
me. And my sister is like, no, Insidious. And I'm like, lady, just watch Earthlings. This Insidious thing is
Just watch
is nothing.
Dominion. You should say
Yeah,
like Dominion is the new horror movie.
just watch
That
Dominion.
is the
There's
thing.
nothing. There's nothing in like
Yeah.
in these movies that could be as scary. But those Saw films, I saw them until I think the seventh one, the one with Chester from Linkin Park.
Wow.
That's the one I saw film the uh
7 films. Okay.
because the eighth one I think
That one
was
was a 3D. It was on 3D on cinema. I think I watched that one,
the
or
sixth one I think was in 3D. I remember,
yeah,
but
it was horrible. But yeah,
any
I
vegan movie
watched it
film
on
that
the
is not
movie
that good.
theater and everything. But
Watch
yeah.
Dominion. You're the producer. Exactly, Entice. You're the producer. Exactly. Hey, are you not vegan? Yeah,
Uh,
you executive produced this film. Look at it. Oh, the
yeah,
Texas
that's a
Chainsaw
good one.
Massacre. That one is a pro-vegan
Yeah.
movie if I ever saw one. Like even the people are putting meat hooks and everything. So it's like
Yeah.
they make you see like that thing. Yeah, sure, for sure. But yeah, the Saw movies. I mean, I don't know. They're I don't know. They're very memeable. You know, with the jigsaw
Minimum.
and the little thing with the tricycle and whatnot. Yeah, and thanks the yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Movies they can have like a vegan message and whatnot. Sometimes they do unadvertently, like they're not trying to make a vegan message, but they do it. Convince me to watch the new Terrifier films on the clown. Terrible. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing with fiction. It can have like a vegan thing. Like the new Resident Evil, they did a Resident Evil Netflix show that was terrible, and one of the characters was
Mhm.
actually like a vegan and something like that, or she said was vegan, and she found out that the laboratory had like these experiments on animals and whatnot, and she was like protesting it and stuff. But I don't know,
Uh-huh.
the series was terrible, so it didn't last. It only last one season.
Okay, I never
and
watched it.
it's funny because when you see people who hate these films or TV shows because they're woke and stuff, the funny thing is that if there's a vegan character, they're going to absolutely hate that character. Just and they're like,
Yeah, the vegan character
yeah,
needs to be the most annoying, of
yeah,
course.
because they make the vegan character an insufferable brat. That's the other thing. It's always some teenager, insufferable teenager that's the vegan. So the video, the YouTuber is like, oh, of course this character is vegan. Gosh, oh my god. I'm like,
Yeah.
ah, of course vegan. What? I'm like, dude, like, yeah. So I don't know, but the Orville had
Yeah.
vegan messages, and Handmaid's Tale, where women are treated like non-human animals, almost. If
Hmm.
Jason saw that, this is such a freaking vegan movie, bro. Yeah, I don't know. Some movies do have like a vegan message, even if they don't intend to. Like
Yeah.
those, I think those movies where they treat people so horribly that. I mean, I was watching 12 Years a Slave. 12 Years a Slave.
Hmm.
I had never watched it, but recently I was like, hey, it's on this streaming platform. I'm going to watch it.
Uh-huh.
And the movie is like, I mean, it's so crazy how the enslavement of humans is such a parallel to what we're doing to animals now. And even the characters, one character says to the other, we're no more valuable than livestock. That's a dialogue
Yeah.
in the film. Like they perceive themselves as, hey, these people don't see us as nothing more than an animal. Like to them, we're
Then a
nothing.
product to
Yeah,
use and exploit,
and
take
there's
advantage of.
many
Yeah.
instances where you're like, yeah, this thing is like has a unintended vegan message throughout. That's a really powerful movie. It's a shame most people have no
Yeah.
idea what was veganism. Yeah, I never watched. By the way, I never watched those Chicken Run movies, but they say they have an actual vegan message in them and stuff.
Yeah, I think I watched the first one ages ago, and yeah, it
Mm.
definitely has. But I mean, is this kind of movies which they have a vegan message, but people are too stupid to get it? It's
Right.
like they're all, I mean, let's be honest, most people are stupid, It's like, oh
Mm.
yeah, they're rooting for the chickens. Do you want to eat chicken wings? It's like, hello, is there anything there? It's like, so yeah, some movies have a vegan message,
Mm.
but people are just
Mm.
like totally positive.
Right. Oh, so sorry. Who's occasionally eating? What? Margaret Atwood is only vegetarian. Who's Margaret
Hmm.
Atwood? I
I
thought
have
she
no
even.
idea.
Yeah, Mike, with the jokes. I was trying to fix my blinds. I couldn't see how to do it. Womp womp. Oh, I thought she was for some reason. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's the other thing with these pescatarians or whatever. It's like, bro, you're not a pescatarian. You're just an animal abuser. Like,
Hmm.
kind of weird. I asked ChatGPT to recommend me vegan TV shows. It gave me The Good Place. Ah, right. Yeah, The Good Place. Probably.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's about some afterlife or something. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the one with Ted Danson and this lady from Veronica Mars. I don't know. Atwood is the author of Handmaid's Tale. Ah, oh, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, veganism is
Mm.
not yet at a point where it's not only the number of vegans, but we also need vegans in certain places of power to be vegan. And we
Mm-hmm.
need not only enough of us, but we need powerful enough because that's the other thing. Like a minority is not just a minority because there's fewer of that group. Sometimes they're just oppressed, even if they're more, just because
Mm-hmm.
the minority holds the power, the actual power, like not the majority of the people. Like we might be, there's apparently like 80 million vegans in the world, so according to some calculations, but 80 million vegans in a world of 8 billion people don't really make a dent.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But
but we
do
also,
vegan,
yeah,
like people in power being vegan, does that really makes a difference? Because if you see
yeah,
people in power trying to impose laws, uh, try to, like, I don't know, abolish, like, or like putting like more animal rights or anything, if you
mm,
don't have the majority, which are the people with less power, like less power
mm,
in a kind of way, because they have a lot of power because they can vote. But like, if
right,
you can be a person of power wanting to pass a law, but if you don't have supporters, does that make any difference? I think it should we should have more people, like the majority, and then let's say, like, ask for change, from people of power. Does that make any sense?
right. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. Like the people in power need more people like surrounding them and stuff. Because obviously, if like for example, I don't know, I'm vegan, so if I go to like the Senate or something, I become a congressman or whatever it is, which I think is an impossibility. I don't know. I think you have to be like born in the country or whatever. Or if I go to my country back there and try to make it as a politician there, and I try to make some vegan changes to stuff, it's gonna be a really difficult road because even if I'm vegan, I will probably not have enough power to make any of the changes needed. That's not
Yeah.
gonna happen. It needs. That's why we need. It's gonna be really slow at the political level, but we need more politicians who are willing to put up a fight for it. Otherwise, it's never
Yeah.
gonna happen. And we need, like that's what I've been saying. We need to be in every aspect of society, like have vegan video games, vegan TV shows, vegan movies, vegan Broadway shows. Vegan everything, so that it becomes like more of the norm. And obviously,
Mhm.
vegan politicians, vegan artists, sports people, whatever, everything.
I
That
think you
shows.
don't need to go the I don't think you need to go that far. I think if you just focus on education, because for example, when you talk about like feminism or racism, you don't have, like, of course maybe you have like feminist video games or stuff, but you
Mm.
don't, I mean, you educate children, to be decent
Yeah,
human
that too.
beings. So if you create like an educational system where you like can put animal rights into the conversation, as the same way that
Right, yeah.
you talk about racism and feminism and all of these issues,
Right.
then you will have like decent human beings, like, let's say, because I mean, let's be honest, adults are the harder people to change and mold, so we need to focus also on children, let's say, and how they are brought up, because they are the ones who are going to speak up in the future.
Ah, for sure.
uh,
But
But
yeah, I
like,
mean,
yeah,
anything is welcomed at the end of the
yeah, but
day.
that's the thing. That's also a really great point. What I'm going with is like, for example, if you rewatch this, like for example, this, this show Friends, for example, it's a very influential
Hmm.
sitcom, basically one of the most famous, if not the most famous of all time. I don't know, probably, and it's still strong today with a bunch of viewers, and there's a whole bunch of merchandise. Like Friends is like the Star Wars
Yeah,
of sitcoms. There's like puzzles to whatever, everything Friends theme that you can imagine exists.
yeah, it was the kind
And
of humor that hit the 90s or whatever,
yeah, but the thing is
2000s
that
or
if you see that show is extremely an animal abusing show, like up the wazoo. Like they have these like 4 or 5 or who knows how
yeah,
many.
like a monkey also with
Yeah, at
Ross,
the
or
beginning they
yeah.
have there's a monkey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I
and
don't like the series that much at all.
right.
But I back in the day, like in high school, all of my friends watch it, and I give it a try. And I remember there was these episodes where like I knew Phoebe was a vegetarian, let's say,
Hmm.
and then I saw this monkey with, and I was like, I don't know, this is not.
Yeah, so that's
But
kind of the
it's a very
thing,
influential show, let's say.
right? It's very influential. So through
Hmm.
there, so through the show, whatever, I mean, it influenced like fashion and everything at some point. Like people
Yeah,
were doing the Rachel haircut and whatnot, so
yeah,
that became a thing. So
yeah,
they had an impact in culture, not beyond just being a sitcom, and that
yeah,
impact is felt to this day still. So, but what did they feature? They feature a bunch of Thanksgiving episodes with giant turkeys and whatnot, and it's like, and making fun with that kind of thing. It's like it's not fun at
yeah,
all. Like there's an episode that I remember where this character of Monica, she puts like a whole turkey, like her head inside the turkey, with some glasses, some shades, and
uh,
like a face, that hat, and to like scare this guy. I think it was Joey or Chandler or whatever. And it's like, what is that? That's not fun. Like when I watched it
yeah.
back in the day, I thought it was freaking hilarious because obviously I was an animal abusing
You don't
idiot.
have the mindset, yeah.
But watching it now, I'm like, this is horrendous. Like they're playing with like
Mm,
a carcass of someone. That's not comedy, but they're making it comedy, and they're making it like this normal thing, like normalizing these horrible
yeah,
things onto these creatures. And yeah, Phoebe was a vegetarian. She didn't want to wear fur. Also, there was an episode where she's like against it, but then she wears it, and then she feels bad about it, so she like throws it away or gives it to some other lady or something, because her conscience, she can't do it. She even took care of some rats. There's an episode where there's like rats in her apartment, and she's like, "Oh no, that's this rat and the family and whatnot." But she's
hmm.
played for laugh. Like the character is the quirky character, the cuckoo crazy
Like
hippie
seen
character.
like in a ridiculous kind of way.
So she's seen like, oh yeah, it's just a Phoebe thing to take care of rats, and so it's that kind of thing. So even in How I Met Your Mother, another great sitcom, there's like this vegan character, but she was like one of those vegans who was like, oh yeah, I'm vegan, but then when something happens, she starts eating like a steak or something. It's so weird. Like if she was vegan, then why would
Yeah,
she like? And then they go to this wedding, and the wedding was all vegan themed, so it was like they there were only like some fruit juices and stuff at the bar. There was not even alcohol or anything, and they were all like miserable and whatnot. And I was like, well, at least something good, like a vegan wedding or something. But I don't know, it was weird. Like she even ate meat when she was pregnant. Remember, she started craving it. Like, oh right, exactly, yeah. And they made a point, like the Joey character said, "Well, I'm going to stop eating meat for when you're eating meat, so that you're not causing any additional." Like that was very
uh-huh.
utilitarian. Like you think about it,
Yeah,
that's a utilitarian thing to do. Like, oh well,
yeah,
you're eating meat now. Okay, I'm not going to, so that you don't cause more harm or more demand, and you just be eating my animals, something like that. So it's like that's crazy. It seems like oh, he did a good thing, but he didn't do anything good.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's kind of weird. Like that's like Moon Knight, the vegan superhero. He has a bad day and gets stood up, and then goes and buys a steak for some reason. What the heck? So he's
Uh-huh.
vegan, but he gets like depressed and goes back to eating meat, which kind of was a fear that I had before going vegan. I was like, I'm such an emotional eater that I thought, what if I I go vegan, but then something happens and I just go back to this. It never happened because I just it's like I'm
Yeah.
absolutely not interested in
There's
participating
a
in
point in your
any of
life when
that.
you know,
Like
like, this
no.
is for forever. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. Like, it just like no. I'm sorry, and absolutely not. Like, it's not. There hasn't even been a temptation to like, oh, how would it be to try this or that? Like I have don't give a like no.
yeah.
I don't care. It's not gonna happen. And now this horrible thing, this chicken place, they came up with something horrible called the chizza, which is cheese and pepperoni on top of like a fried chicken thing. It's like what the hell? Why did they come up with
Mm-hmm.
pizza instead of coming up with like a plant-based thing? Like why do they have to come up with these horrible creations with animals? Like, and when
Yeah,
you see the advertisement, they never advertise any plant stuff. They only advertise the dead animals. So I don't know.
yeah.
I think it's
AJ,
hard for
can you
him.
just give me a second? I'm coming shortly, okay?
Okay, okay.
Okay, just
All right. So yeah. Okay, so she left when I mentioned the pizza. Nah, just come. Just kidding. But yeah, I mean, it's horrendous. That pizza thing, that's not a food. That's a horrible abomination. But yeah, guys, just like we were saying, she and I are creating this new channel. It's called Two Potatoes Talking. I'm going to leave a link. I don't know if I can do it here. I don't know how to. But maybe in the comments when this video ends, I'm gonna pin it in the comments so that you can go and subscribe to that new channel. We're going to be doing this kind of thing, but over there it's gonna be a whole entire different thing. It's gonna be she and I, Revolta and I, my friend. So it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be more casual. It's not gonna have like a set day that we're gonna um, do the live stream because we have like a different time zone and have different schedules at work and stuff like that. So whenever we can, we're gonna make time for it, and we're gonna also be uploading like short videos and stuff to keep it going. But we're gonna do the podcast over there, and it's gonna be really awesome. So yeah, stay tuned for that, definitely. And yes, you've seen we've been talking for like 2 hours. That's nice. And hey, again, thank you to everyone who showed up. A bunch of legends here like Mike, David, Jigger Teaser, Ali, Vicente, and Thais. So nice. Even Skyjack Morgan, everyone. So, Asparagua. Yeah, exactly. Like chickens. Like, why would you do anything horrible to a chicken? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Chickens are just so cool, you know? But that's the thing. You don't really. I have been resummoned. Nice, awesome. So yeah,
Okay, I'm
chickens
back.
and all right.
Sorry.
So yeah, so like what we were saying, and then plant-based utilitarian. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know why it's kind of difficult. Like those, even if those movies do have some vegan message and stuff, it goes over people's heads, like you said. Like people are too dumb to realize the vegan message. I guess I was
Yeah.
also too dumb to see it because when I watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I wasn't vegan and I didn't really get the vegan message at all. It was like just a horror
I
film.
also didn't got it. I think it's like I mean it depends on how much you analyze things
but
Yeah, exactly. I guess
um,
also. Yeah, but
but maybe it leaves like a something, like in the back of the head, I don't know.
mm, but
Maybe you don't realize
yeah,
it at the moment, but maybe it creates some kind of like, wait.
yeah. Well, even my one of my favorite shows, The Twilight Zone, has some vegan message in certain episodes, even if they didn't intend to. But
Hmm.
it's there because like there's that episode where astronauts are going to some planet or something, and one of them is like, no, I'm telling you, like there's people like us, other humans in other planets and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
he was really believing in that there were people like humans in other
That's where
places.
Neil deGrasse like took the idea, I guess, from that
Yeah,
episode.
exactly, yeah. And then they crash land on this planet, and one of them dies, and the one who believed that there were other humans and stuff, he survives, and there's this race of human like people, I guess. But obviously aliens in the 60s, so they wear robes. That's how they're aliens. So you know, and
Yeah.
have this crazy 60s hair and whatnot. So they're like, oh yeah, whatever. And then he's like, we're gonna help you fix your spaceship and whatnot. But in the meantime, you can stay here. And they give him like a house to stay and whatnot. And he's at first he's like, oh yeah, this house seems nice and whatnot. And then when he sits down and tries to like watch TV or something, it's all fake. Like the TV is fake, the fireplace is fake, everything is like fake windows.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, what the heck is this? He can't even open the door or whatever. And when there's a wall that comes down, and he's like behind bars, and in front of him there's like the people that he met before watching
Ah,
him, like staring
oh,
at him. And there's like a plague that says human from earth, and it's like a zoo.
like a zoo, like a
Yeah,
human zoo.
exactly, yeah, it's like a human zoo. It's like
Oh,
human from planet earth, and they were
creepy.
like just like watching him. And he's like, oh yeah, you were right, people are alike in other places. Like he sees
Yeah.
like the parallel and the injustice that we make onto these animals, and they make it to the human, in another in the orbital. I think it was a tribute to that Twilight Zone episode. Interesting, yeah. There's an episode of Lost in Space, the original, which I think is where Neil deGrasse got his idea, because it's called the uh, the vegetable. It's called the Vegetable Rebellion or something like that. It's apparently the episode where the series just jumped the shark. Like when they were like jumping the shark, it's like a TV term. Like when the series becomes ridiculous to the point where it's no longer good. It's like from this point the series just
Okay.
is horrible. And it comes from that series, Happy Days, with the Fonzie and all that. I don't know if you know Fonzie, the guy who goes like, hey,
Yeah,
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 and stuff, with the
yeah.
leather jacket and stuff. So there's a point where he's like surfing or something, and or skiing, water skiing, and he jumps a shark. So they came up with that was so ridiculous that they saying that killed the show. So in TV, there's this term "jumping the shark." Is when the TV
Okay,
show becomes
okay.
so
Got
bad,
it.
like from this
I didn't
point,
know.
it jumped the shark. So the
Okay.
Lost in Space basically jumped the shark, even though that was before Happy Days, but whatever. They basically just jumped the shark with the something vegetable rebellion. And the thing is that they go to a
Uh-huh.
planet where there's like an alien race of vegetables, like sentient carrots and peppers and whatnot. I haven't seen it, but apparently that's the episode that kind of killed the show. And I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
think
what
we
Neil
yeah.
deGrasse was thinking of the re- vegetable rebellion, because it's
I
crazy.
think we all can agree that people who are good with numbers, I mean, this doesn't mean that they are very smart,
Right?
they just
Yeah.
know how to, yeah. But there's like, now that I think of it, like even most now, there's like a lot of things, shows with vegan messages. Now, like on
Mm.
the top of my head, there's like this episode with like Rick and Morty, you know,
Hmm.
the
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's like this this episode where they're they make their dog, I mean, let's say like pet, like people say it, like they make their dog intelligent, so they don't want to like take care of him or whatever.
I
So the
saw
thing is
that
that the dog
episode.
becomes so intelligent that it creates like a robot, and they all start dominating humans. And if you think about it, it's like there's even like a part where like the dog says like, where are like my, you know, my private parts, you know, where are they? And then it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not like Snowball, I'm like Fluffy, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's it also has a bigger message, you know, of how we treat our animal companions, you know, because
Mm.
then you see, and I see it a lot here, mostly like people just having dogs and cats just because they feel lonely, you know,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
have like a Labrador and a pit bull, and they live in a small flat, and they just walk them twice a day. Wow, you know, this is so egoistic and so selfish from
Right.
people, you know. I mean, you have a highly active animal that has so many requirements, but you just have it to fulfill some void inside, or just to
Yeah.
pretend, you know. This is like back in the day, like dogs and cats were always used as accessories, let's say, you know,
Right.
to try to show some kind of status maybe.
Mm.
And it's still to this day, you know. And I see like how people, like the other day I was like going on the street, and there was this woman with a baby car, how is it called, like a trolley, I
Yeah.
forgot the English word.
Yeah.
Yeah, a mini car where you put a baby,
A
right?
stroller. Yeah. A stroller. Yeah.
Exactly, with two dogs inside.
Oh no!
And
Hell no!
yeah, and then I was like, I mean, seriously, I mean, this, for me, this is some kind of animal abuse, because you're depriving the animal of all of its needs. You know, the dogs need to go outside and smell and run, and like, and why do you put them in a like a freaking trolley with like a dress? And I mean, I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
she takes a lot of care about these dogs, and she gives them probably the best life ever according to her standards, but
Right.
not up the animal standards, you know. So I
Yeah.
see this also, like some pet owners, let's say it, like I this is animal abuse in some way. It's
Yeah.
you're
It
robbing
is.
the animal of so many things, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. You're trying to humanize the animal. Like, oh, he's a member of the family,
yeah,
whatever. But
yeah,
then you're treating them not like they. You're not giving them what they actually
hmm,
need to thrive and
yeah,
to have a normal life for them, for their nature. Cannot let them
yeah,
aside. Yeah. So, oh yeah, another one that is very vegan is the Planet of the Apes. The first one, the first
yeah, yeah, yeah.
saga of the Planet of the Apes, because
Yeah, that's totally a vegan movie. Totally.
that's a vegan movie right there. Like the apes evolved to treat humans like slaves, like if the humans were the animals and the apes were like the humans. Now the apes, they wore leather garments because they seem like leather, so I'm gonna go that they're leather, and they rode horses, and they would kidnap like humans in the fields and stuff, and they would have them do forced labor and stuff, and they would lobotomize them and make them completely like mute and stuff.
Yeah.
And this Dr. Seuss, who was the guy running the operation, he was like very religious and saying that humans were inferior and that the great ape created apes. Like the movie is atheist and vegan at the same time. Like yeah, the great
Yeah.
ape
Yeah. No,
created.
this movie is amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing. The
they
message that it
yeah,
has, and also for its time was,
right.
yeah,
The great ape created us in his image,
yeah,
and it's like wow. So they have a parallel where the apes have a religion,
yeah,
and they treat these humans as inferior and not. And they have this guy Charlton Heston, the Charlton Heston character. I don't remember the name of the character, but they have him in this cage, and they're like, oh, here's your female, you have to mate with her and whatnot. And he was like, ah, yeah, I
Mm.
don't know. I mean, and he was like, yeah, she's cute and stuff, but I don't want to do it in front of these creatures. So he was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, this feels kind of not very good. So, and he takes him, I mean, he does take her with him. So I don't know. He's like, oh, okay, I guess these apes are not so bad. They gave me a girlfriend. But, but it's kind of weird. And the whole thing is, and when they run away, they're like, oh, what is he going to find? Whatever. And he's like, no, you're not going to find, you're not going to like what you're going to find out. And he warns him that no, he's going to see his destiny and whatnot. And when he sees like
Yeah.
the Statue of Liberty, all, like all rusty and destroyed, whatever, in the middle of the beach, is like, he's like, oh no, what the hell? Like, he understands that he was always on planet Earth, and that it was humans who caused this horrible destruction. And
Yeah.
and it's like, it's anti-war, pro
Has
animal,
many
I guess.
messages, like
Like, it's,
positive messages
yeah,
as
it's
well.
amazing. And then in
Yeah.
the saga of the Planet of the Apes, there's one where it is known that humans, like at some point in history, dogs and cats, they went extinct due to some disease. So humans took apes as their new pets, and
Aha.
they were
Mm-hmm,
training
mm-hmm,
them
mm-hmm.
to be like more servient and stuff. And because apes had more, human-like abilities and whatnot, they became like servants and stuff. And then obviously when the nuclear war happened, I'm guessing like the whole thing got mixed up, and the apes went and became the superior race and whatnot. But it's kind of crazy to see that, and it's got like a vegan
Yeah.
message. It's crazy. But that's the thing. People don't get the vegan message because they're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's like you said, I saw
Yeah.
those
There's
movies.
many.
Yeah.
And there's many vegan messages like sneaking in many shows. I mean, like I said, like Rick and Morty. There's also this episode with Family Guy where there's like a horse that like hurts its leg, and then
Ah,
uh,
right.
the owner is going to shoot him, and the horse is kind of like, oh, shoot me, motherfucker, or something like that. It's like I think there's always
Right.
kind of like a message, but people somehow like either overlook it, but somehow maybe there's like something that sticks. I don't know. But again, like
Right.
such as I don't think these kind of things can turn people vegan. I think this is a very kind of like click moment and personal kind of thing. You need to find
Yeah.
the weak spot, let's say.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. It's kind of, it's like that. Those shows and those movies do have a bigger message sometimes. That thing with the
yeah.
horse on Family Guy, yeah, definitely, I've seen that. And the Rick and Morty episode, I saw that one. And obviously, the Simpsons did one where Lisa goes vegetarian because they go to
Yeah,
like
yeah,
some petting zoo or something, and she feels bad
yeah,
for the
yeah,
lamb, and she's like, oh no, I cannot do this anymore. And it's interesting because she goes to talk to Apu, and then Apu is like, I don't even consume dairy or eggs or anything that comes from an animal. Like, he says it right there and then, like, I don't consume any of these. And she's like, wow, so you must think I'm this monster and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I think you're terrible. Like he's like, yeah, you're awful. Like, you're consuming cheese and like, and it's like, oh, Apple, you're freaking awesome, Apple, and then it's revealed that he had been selling plant-based sausages all this time. Like, they like, no, they're not made of meat. Because Lisa's like, okay, everybody wants me to eat meat, so I'm going to. And she takes a bite of the hot dog, and she's like, are you happy, whatever. And Apple is like, oh yeah, I see you took my plant-based sausage and stuff. And she's like, what the heck,
yeah. I
this was
remember.
plant-based. Like, yeah, was
I remember
absolutely
that
crazy. Yeah,
episode. Yeah,
yeah, so that
yeah.
was interesting. Oh, SpongeBob vegan pants. Yeah, exactly. Krabby Patties are vegan. That's awesome. That's great. There's an episode, by the way, of my favorite show of all time, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where she works at a fast food place, the double meat
Uh-huh.
palace. And in this
Uh-huh.
episode, there's like a mystery. They don't know what, like, the meat is kind of weird or something. It is revealed that it is vegetables. That is some kind of mix
Kind of
with vegetables.
weird, kind of greenish.
Yeah, so the meat is like it's
I should
vegetables.
rewatch the show. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so
But
good.
the thing is that they did mix it with like animal fat for flavors, so it's not vegan or anything like that.
Mm.
But it was mostly plants, and I was like, okay, that's interesting that they did this like back in the 90s or something, and that was like the secret ingredient was plants, not people or anything, because they were fearing that it might be people and stuff. So they're
Yeah,
like,
it
no, no,
was the
it's not.
beginning of the plant-based
Yeah,
alternatives, you know.
but yeah, but it's interesting. There's something interesting about that show, and also Angel, because you know Angel, the vampire. He's like
I was
a,
a fan of Angel.
yeah, of
Like
course, yeah.
it
I
was
mean, obviously, I mean, it's
the
like
story. The story was amazing.
like right. So he, I mean, he was like the
Sexiest story
good guy.
ever.
Like, yeah, sure. And David Boreanaz, I mean, come on, like, guys wanted
Oh,
to be
yeah.
him, ladies wanted to be with him. It's like that kind of deal, you know.
It
So
was it
yeah.
was like a perfect balance, you know.
Yeah, I mean that guy was hot. So what are you gonna do? So he was a perfect
Yeah.
vampire. So the thing is that it's weird because he's a good vampire. So what he does is he doesn't drink blood from people, but he does go to
Hmm.
like a local butcher, local though, and he gets, pig's blood or something. So he keeps animal blood in his fridge, and this is supposed to be like his better ethical option than attacking people, and
I'm
and
pretty
and
sure lifting Danny Logic will say that's vegan because that's
I mean because the
like
pig is already
maybe
there.
he
They're
finds
just
the blood anyway. So
yeah, like yeah, the pig is already dead, and they're just giving him
yeah,
the blood, which is
it's
like a leftover or whatever. So what's the issue if the animal's already been dead and it's just some leftover blood, right? And but think about it, vampires in Buffy the Vampire Slayer are actually doing a favor to the animals because they're attacking humans and killing them, and those humans are mostly animal abusers.
yeah, but you cannot say that about every serial killer out there.
Yeah, like basically,
Actually,
actually, those
I see
vampires.
animals like, oh my god, we love Jeffrey Dahmer. Woo.
Yeah, exactly. Like, thank you, Jeff. Like, you know,
He's on our
you're
side.
you're a hero. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's kind of weird. But it would be interesting to see that in the show. Like, hey, come up with like plant-based blood or something, some beet juice that does the trick and stuff. Because
Yeah.
in that universe, vampires don't actually die if they don't drink blood. What happens is they could go like insane at some point.
Mm.
But they don't starve to death. That doesn't happen to them. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, that was some show back in the day. I love it. But yeah, it doesn't have much of a vegan message there. But it also doesn't feature too much animal abuse. I guess it's kind of weird. But all that thing with
More human abuse.
yeah, demons and morality and the soul and what's good and what's bad. It gets interesting. Like the later seasons is more adult and stuff, and
But
it,
it's
it
it was nice back in the days, these kind of shows, because yeah, okay, it doesn't have much of a vegan message, but also it didn't had any kind of political message. It didn't had any kind of like social message. It was just like you watched the show and you were just like, ah,
yeah,
relaxed, you know.
exactly, yeah,
Now
exactly, yeah,
every show you watch, it needs to have political references. Everything needs to be like intersectional. Everything like you cannot watch
yeah,
something just because of the sake of watching it,
yeah,
and it's so
exactly, yeah,
boring nowadays. So
yeah.
that's so good about the 90s shows, you know, and Buffy and Angel. It was just like this is a story and it has nothing to do with politics or like social issues or the, you know, it's yeah.
There were a few animal messages to at least spark a thought, but it was just programmed. Yeah, exactly. Like some shows, there they have that Lisa Simpson. But you know what? Actually, like for example, Daria, I think, could be a vegan. Like if they made that show today,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
think
I
she
also
would.
think so.
I think she would be a vegan. Like if they made that show, like if a vegan actually wrote that show, she would be a vegan because she was really in
Yeah, she
tune
has
with
the
all.
vegan attitude, you know.
She was like, yeah, she was a no nonsense kind of person, and she was like calling out all the
Doesn't care
bullshit.
what anyone says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. She's like already a social outcast, so she was like, yeah, whatever. So she would be
Nothing else
vegan.
to lose, so
Yeah, whatever. I guess so. Yeah, she should be. I think her and Jane would be vegan. I do think so.
yeah,
I do think so.
definitely.
She's got all the
Definitely.
makings of a vegan. It's just that, you know. But who knows? Utility
Was a
of
great
Jeffrey
show.
Dahmer's comparison to get people to understand their hypocrisy. The net negative utility of his victims. Man, what? What the heck? Don't usually care about advocating for animals because they're not even consistent. People understand that vegans. Yeah, that was weird. I met a vegetarian lady who had like a rescue shelter and whatnot, and
Mhm.
I don't know, she wasn't really all that consistent, really. And now she's selling collagen in Instagram or whatever. If I
They are
was looking
never
for a modern
consistent.
audience, vegan and atheist. But I think Daria
Yeah.
was kind of an atheist, or wasn't she? I don't know.
She was like opposing this kind of like big institutions and stuff.
Yeah,
So pretty
definitely.
sure
Yeah,
the church is included.
she saw
But with
the BS.
vegetarians, yeah, I have some friends that are vegetarian, and I always get the same response somehow. It's like, oh, I've been vegetarian for so long that I already done so much for animals that why like any change won't make any
Right.
difference. It's like they
Yeah.
sound like junkies. They just cannot live without the cheese. It's just like, what is
Yeah.
it? What is it? Like, leave this addiction.
Yeah,
They are
which,
total. They are junkies. Yeah.
by the way, yeah, that was another thing that came up during the lab grown debate because Jordan mentioned that a lot. Like, oh, the people, what they say the most is like, oh no, I just can't live without cheese or this. And I'm like, dude, yeah, but people say whatever. Like, that's not the reason why they're not vegan. The reason they're not vegan is because they don't
Yeah.
really see the animals as individuals.
Exactly. And when they come with this, like, oh, I just cannot live without cheese, it's like, are you a child? Like, seriously? Like, this is so immature, so infantile to say,
Like, yeah, like,
It's
oh, I love cheese too much. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's
it's
true.
weird.
I think they believe it's true because they're thinking that veganism is a diet because that's what people
Yeah.
associate it with. So they're thinking, I cannot stop eating cheese. That's not going to happen. But what they're not thinking is, oh, I cannot stop not abusing others and not owning others' lives. That's what they're not thinking.
Yeah.
People think they're doing
Yeah.
something for animals. Yeah, that's the thing. Like they think they're already doing enough for being vegetarian. That's what they're gonna
Yeah.
think when this lab grown stuff happens. They're gonna, I'm already eating this vegan. What else do you want?
They
And
are waiting the moment that anything like this lab grown meat goes just to eat it. I think this would be like a market for the vegetarians, not for the meat eaters or
probably
vegans.
for the vegetarians, yeah,
Yeah.
you probably see it, and they're gonna be like, I'm already eating this, so what's your problem, vegan? Get out of here, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, that's horrible. Maybe they eat so much cheese that they're addicted, and they also haven't seen Dominion. I don't know, man. Like, I don't really buy into the whole addiction thing. I don't know. Like, that's the thing you say before you actually consider the animals. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought I'm already too deep into this animal eating thing. I'm never going to change. And
Yeah.
then I was like, yeah, I'm going to change. Goodbye, animals. I'm not gonna do this to you anymore. So, yeah, I don't care. But yeah, people can be, addicted to something, I guess.
For
But
me,
yeah,
I did felt that I was like a little addicted because I mean, you went from uh, non-vegan to vegan, basically, and I went from non-vegan to
yeah.
vegetarian to vegan, and uh, I mean, actually, when I was a vegetarian because I was ignorant about many issues, and
Hmm.
as soon as I started learning things, I was like, oh, okay, no, so I need to stop this, I need to stop that, I need to change
Right.
this and that. But with the cheese thing, it can be really addictive. For me, it
Hmm.
was
I really felt like I was addicted because sometimes I was just like craving it, like not even thinking about it. I was just like, oh my God, I wish I had something with cheese here. Because what happened was that I never liked cheese so much
Hmm.
when I was a non-vegan, but
Hmm.
when I was a vegetarian, I started eating way more dairy than I did when I was not like when I was non-vegan.
Right.
So like I was intaking so much like animal fluids, like ice cream, yogurt, cheese, whatever, that I think I got hooked on it. And it was more difficult to me to stop consuming that than it was to stop consuming meat, all in all, or animal parts, let's say.
Probably.
So
I
I
mean,
think you get a little hook. Maybe it's the fat, it's like eating chips, like you cannot only eat one.
no,
You
yeah,
need to
exactly.
like
Yeah.
maybe it's the perfect amount of fat and salt, that
Yeah.
makes
If
it
you
like
eat just one,
you
yeah,
stop
exactly.
thinking.
Yeah.
So with dairy, yeah, but it comes to a point where you need to look yourself you need to look in the mirror and say like, okay, you're not a child, you are capable of making decisions. And yeah, just grow
Right.
up, and
Oh,
stop abusing animals. That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I
And
like
then you
this
just stop
joke. When a carnivore dieter eats an orange, did I just commit a veganism?
it.
That was fun. Oh, and Thais, well, nice seeing you and Thais. You're awesome. You're a total legend.
You're
You're freaking
amazing.
amazing. One of the best, definitely. Thank you for everything you
Total
do.
badass.
Yeah, totally. A no nonsense kind of lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most will go vegan after watching Dominion, probably. Buying tax, yeah. So yeah, I don't know the whole thing with the vegetarians. I don't know. I Yeah, I went vegan just right away because I don't know. It was weird because when I first knew about veganism, I thought at some point, I mean, yeah, I can go vegan. I mean, I don't really like. I can go without eating meat and stuff like that. Like it's gonna be easy, and I don't even drink milk. So then I started thinking, wait a minute. If I'm vegan, that means that cheese that's made from milk. So wait a second. I'm not going to eat cake. I'm not going to eat pizza, cakes. I started naming a bunch of
Mm.
stuff, cookies. I said, what the heck? Oh no, then I'm not gonna go vegan. What is that? I'm not gonna stop eating all that. Are you crazy?
That's the thing that sorry, I'm interrupting
No, no, no.
shortly, but that's the thing with for example, if you stop eating meat, but you can just like avoid it completely, but avoiding eggs or milk, it's so difficult because they are sneaked in so many products, and they're in
Exactly.
cookies, in like even in some like french fries, or even some frozen vegetables, they even have like milk powder or something. So it's like it's way harder to avoid if you're not like actively and become a pro at reading the ingredients, so
Yeah.
I think that okay, you stop eating animals, that's easy, but then like the all of the secretions are everywhere, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, exactly. It's everywhere. So I thought, well, I'm not going to like stop eating like cookies and pigs, and then I'm not gonna go vegan. Then that's what that's what I thought. But I never even considered all the other stuff like the vivisection and stuff like that. So it was a
Yeah,
case where I
yeah,
was just looking at the dietary thing and rejecting it without knowing, hey, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you had to reject too. So when I finally got it, I was like, oh, okay, this is even worse than I thought. Like, look at all these horrible things we do to animals, and it's all for nothing. Like, we don't need to wear leather. We don't need to do any of these experiments. We don't need to eat any of this. Why are we doing it if we don't need it? And they're having a horrible time with it. So
yeah,
we don't need it. They don't want it. They're individuals who just want to be free. So why are we doing this thing? It doesn't make any sense. So I was like, you know what? No, that's it. I'm not going to be like this is not going to happen because of me anymore. Like, but then from that point on, like it's the reason I became so because now I'm known for being kind of unhinged and stuff, and but the reason is because
No,
yeah, the reason is because well, I was always that way, really, but in veganism, it's
Actually,
like
yeah. I mean, you didn't change. Actually,
yeah, I
you
didn't
just
change
change
that
your
part. Didn't
focus
change.
of anger.
Yeah, exactly. I just now have a good cause for that,
Yeah.
so I'm just using it for good. But that's the thing. Like I became this way because I don't know. Like I saw what I was doing, and I was so repulsed by it, and so enraged at myself, really, that I was like, no, what is this? Like I thought I was so, so above everything. I thought, oh no, I'm smart. I'm an atheist. I already know everything. Like, you know. And I remember you telling me that, dude, like if you're an atheist, you also have to question this thing, like this animal consumption and stuff. And at the time, I was like, no, I don't know. But then I saw it clearly, like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense for an atheist to not be vegan, really. Really, it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense for anyone to not be, but atheists, like, if you're an atheist
Yeah.
and you're not vegan, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're just using half a brain, and then the other half is like
Yeah.
dormant.
Question everything except the exploitation of animals.
Yeah, I might not know everything, but I'm gonna live forever. Yeah, sure. In video form, maybe, as long as YouTube is alive, those videos are gonna be there. So, yeah, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I was so mad at myself and how dumb I felt. Like,
Yeah.
man, I was played all this time. I was such a fool. Like, these companies fooled me. And I thought I was so smart and I thought I knew how everything worked and how everything was. And no one
Yeah.
is going to teach me any lessons. And then I was like, what the heck? Like, this thing is horrible. Why am I doing this? So I don't know. I
Yeah.
just stopped, and that's what I want from everyone else. So I don't understand. Like, if I could do it, why do I have to be like this? Oh no, no, you do it at your own time, and you see like what? No, like there's no
Yeah.
time. The animals have no time. Like Sky
You don't
said
say the
before,
same
like
about every other social issue. Like, oh, don't be a racist. Like, but okay, just like baby steps,
I
okay?
mean,
Just like
just
try
say
not
the
to be today
yeah,
every
right,
Monday,
yeah.
anti-racist Monday.
Like just say the N word like a few times. Maybe not as much as you do now. Just say the N word like 3 times a week.
Just beat your wife, like, not beat your wife Mondays, okay? Then you'll be
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah,
Then do
exactly.
a
Like
not beat your
that's
wife
yeah.
January. It's
Because
like,
then, like, if I could do it, what's the moral difference between me and some other random person
yeah.
that I can do it, but they can't? Like, they're so special that no, no, this is for you, but not for me. Like, I don't see it. Anyone can change
Anyone
at
can be vegan for
at any
sure. It
point.
just depends on them. It just depends on them.
It really depends on
And
them.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where it also comes, because you were talking about, uh I mean, it was a realization that it was not only about the eating part, but like vivisection and like animals used for entertainment and stuff. This is also why it bothers me a little when these guys come and say that we should support lab grown meat because it's like a vegan issue and stuff. And I'm like,
Mm,
veganism is not only about food. I mean, what are you doing for like fight against vivisection or fight against, like, there's
right.
still like zoos and aquariums here. What are you doing for that? That is lab grown
Right.
meat going to help that? It's like, why are like people so focused also on, I mean, I understand that the eating part is like, it's very easy to boycott, you just don't buy the product.
Right.
But also the same is with entertainment, you just don't go to a zoo, you just don't go to an aquarium. But I
Right.
don't know, I think we should focus also on what veganism is total animal liberation, period. And it's not only a diet, it's not only about, oh, let's find better ways to eat, like,
Right.
no,
Exactly. And that's
I don't
well,
know.
actually, during the lab grown meat debate, Jordan did say like, "Oh, you're making a nirvana fallacy because this lab grown stuff can't solve every issue, then it's not worth it." And And like, yeah, but that point is that this is just a product. It's not going to solve anything because you're just relying on some product. And the purchasing of this product doesn't even save the animals because what you're doing is you're protesting with your money, you're
Mm,
protesting by not purchasing animal products. Obviously, you're not going to change the entire industry with that, at least not in the numbers that we are right now. There's not that many vegans or whatever, but you're protesting against it. You're not participating in it anymore. You're taking yourself out of the equation. And that's what the point of it is. If the person who's eating lab grown meat doesn't even care about animals or anything, how are we going to free them
exactly.
when this is just going to
Yeah.
be a product and this same person will go to the zoo, will go to SeaWorld, will go to any of these, or at least they won't
Yeah.
protest against it. So I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
see it. It's like just really don't see the you know. But hey,
Yeah.
only time will tell. If like I said in my latest video was like if this thing becomes like an actual thing and it saves the animals, okay, whatever. I'll admit it. But I don't think it will happen. I think it will just be another thing to buy that will be
Yeah.
available, and that's it. It's just gonna be a product. But
Yeah.
yeah,
What
yeah.
Aspara was saying, yeah, there's like a hormone, right? Like in milk that makes you a little like addicted to it. I mean, not addicted, but it makes like babies want to drink it, something like that.
Probably yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so it makes sense that you get a little like addicted to to it.
Beta. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I don't know. This thing
Yeah.
is gonna be it's really an uphill battle. So obviously, I understand the sentiment that yeah, we need as many weapons as we can get to fight against this thing from every angle possible. And yeah,
You
sure,
need the right weapons.
I mean, yeah, sure, the product part of it. Okay, I understand it from that point of view, but saying that vegans should promote or should support it, no, we don't
Yeah.
have to. We like it's not a vegan thing. What we should
Mhm.
support is the ethical stance of veganism. That's it. And from there, the people will make their own, like, oh, 2 plus 2 is 4. Therefore, no more animal enslavement, no more animal abuse, no more animal exploitation. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Like, doing this thing with, like, taking a shortcut just because we see this thing as this goal that is so far away. And so we're going to try to take a shortcut with some magic product. I really don't see it. Like, I'm gonna be the first to say that I've always been, or at least I was always like, yeah, no, these plant-based products or whatever, they're great, and but I don't know, I don't think so. They're just a product, and that's it. You can get it, you cannot get it, but at the end of the day, they're just another product.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, anyway, the
You
PETA
know where
spokesman
I
says
see
coconut meat
oh,
is fine because it comes from a
uh,
different kind of coconut without monkeys, and the issue was with cooking coconut milk. What? They think that the drinkable coconut milk is fine because it comes from a different kind of coconut without monkeys. That's the thing. Like
yeah, yeah.
the coconut. Now, I heard someone or I read that someone said that it's not just the Thailand coconuts that are come with forced monkey labor. They're doing that in other places, and that
Uh-huh.
they're not talking about it. Like it's not just Thailand. So I was like, bloody hell! Like this thing is unescapable, basically.
They need to have like the labels and stuff, but we know how worth labels are. But for me, what where I see more progress is not this kind of like plant-based alternatives because like we talked before, we can just eat rice and beans and vegetables and that's it. So
Yeah,
like plant-based alternatives are just like a luxurious kind of thing, let's say. I mean,
yeah,
it's just to satisfy our own pleasure. But where I see that we have like gone so far and where we should like invest more time and effort and supporting is, for example, when I see cleaning products or hygiene products or cosmetics
Mm-hmm.
that are cruelty free and vegan, for me, this is way, way, way better than having a Beyond Burger or something,
Yeah,
When I see like
exactly.
cleaning products like window cleaner and like and they have the cruelty free and the vegan, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing, and nobody talks about that, and also the
Exactly.
cosmetics and the hygiene and seriously, but no, oh my god, we need to invest in lab grown meats because we don't have enough plant-based alternatives, it's like
Yeah,
this
that's
is
a
so ridiculous.
that's actually a great point because that's also a thing that I wish there was more of it. Like
Mm-hmm,
more of
mm-hmm.
these hygiene products and house cleaning products and other things that people don't usually consider, but that they're not usually vegan because they're
Yeah,
made with either animal testing or animal products in it. So I think it's important. That's why when back then I made that weird vegan definition of mine, I included the promotion of well, I call them plant-based alternatives, but it was not only thinking about the food. I was thinking of these type of things, like the products.
yeah, exactly,
I,
exactly.
I just
Yeah.
recently found a brand here that is called Ecos, something like that, and it's a plant-based. They have plant-based dish soap and detergent and house cleaning and everything, and it's completely plant-based, vegan and stuff. And
Yeah,
so I was like, oh, this is perfect because now these products that are hard to come by in a non-vegan way because the non-vegan
exactly.
versions are all over the place, but the vegan versions are either too expensive or you have to like um, get them from like Amazon or something because you can't find it at your local store or something like that. But now in
Yeah.
at
Mhm.
Walmart they have these things, these plant-based vegan cleaning products and stuff. And like this is my thing. This is what I'm gonna get now. So yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
process, but it's what it is. Now, okay,
I think
so
at the beginning, just super
mm,
quick, at the beginning when those products came out, of course they were really expensive. But now you have like the cheap brands, let's say, trying to compete also
all
and come
right,
up with these like more affordable products. And one
yeah,
curious thing that I see about all of these cleaning products is that are like cruelty free and vegan is that they also are always made with recycled materials, something that you don't see in these more expensive brands that are
right,
non-vegan or not cruelty free. So I mean, it's always a good choice and way more important to focus our attention than more food alternatives. But
right,
yeah.
yeah. Well, apparently this guy Aisel Mazard was saying that the surrounding countries that with Thailand that they also have this forced monkey labor thing going on.
Uh-huh.
That's why I don't know. Like I finally found after years, I finally found coconut milk, like condensed coconut milk, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna make my corn pie finally. And
Yeah.
then I was like, oh no, it says product of Thailand. Bloody hell!
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
no. I was like, f you, I'm not doing this. Goodbye. So yeah, so I don't know, it's gonna be difficult, but that's the thing. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of cleaning products and stuff that are not vegan. Like crayons are not vegan because apparently they use animal fat or something.
Uh-huh.
And
Many
and
art stuff
yeah,
is
art
not
supplies, yeah, exactly, like markers
is
and stuff.
horrible too.
It's like, bro, what are you doing? I didn't even know that brushes, like hair brushes, were like strands of hair from animals.
Yeah, yeah. When I
And
was
I'm like,
studying in the university, they were like, "Oh, just get these brushes and stuff," and then I was like, "Don't you have synthetic?" Well, yeah, but they don't paint so well, and like I'm sure they will paint the same. It's like this is so unnecessary. It's just yeah,
yeah,
it's
I mean, yeah,
unnecessary what we do to animals,
paint brushes are also, yeah. And
and
then the
also
whole
like
thing with,
pigments and
yeah,
yeah,
and the thing with musical instruments and stuff. The whole thing, the whole animal abuse
yeah,
is so rampant, so everywhere that I rather have that like, hey, these alternatives to animals in like musical instruments, in
Yeah,
equipment of all types. You know,
that
everywhere
more
where
meat,
there's,
you know?
yeah, more than the meat thing, because we can always get rice and beans and stuff like that. But you know,
Exactly.
so yeah, I think it's been 3 hours and my phone battery is dying. So it was a great talk. Yeah, we can wrap it up in like 5 minutes or something. Start saying
Yeah.
our goodbyes. Thank you everyone who came by. This was really awesome to see you all, and obviously fun to see you, my friend, again, even from the
Thank you
camera.
for having me.
Of course. And then we're gonna do that two potatoes talking thing that I was
Yeah.
talking about. So everyone, just remember that we have this new channel where we're gonna be doing some interesting stuff, some other live streams and stuff, and it's gonna be really cool. Two potatoes talking. I'm gonna have the link in the in the comments probably. I'm just gonna pin it in the comments so everyone can go to that channel and subscribe and all that. So yeah, it's been great. Ali, Carrie, Asparagua, everyone, not another plant-based utilitarian, everyone who came by, Mike, vegan of course, everyone, it's been great. So yeah, it's been awesome. So thank you for being
Thank you so
here.
much.
And yes, we'll see you next time. So bye,
Ciao,
bye
ciao.
everyone. Ciao.